people on streaming.
Hit that good refresh button. Refreshing. All right, let me go to home.
Give it a second.
I don't. Is it gonna take a second?
It might. A lot of people on YouTube are like, let's get. Yep, we're live.
Huge move. China leapfrogs U.S. with world's first 6G satellite amid raging tech war. Oh, Christ. Oh, boy.
Great googly moogly.
So we are live.
Yep.
Oh, we are live. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Zero Hour. This is episode 2. I know it says episode 1 in the description right now, but we're going to get rid of that real quick. Make sure that we have the right episode number up there, which eventually when we do this, it'll... Now, Mike, we needed to find a really good way so that maybe we could do at least the title before it starts. Yeah, it's really it. Like, yeah, well, I told everybody about the PlayStation 5 move. I'm waiting on that. The reviews were good. It's still going to be a good console, but there's some bugs and kinks that got to get worked out. Same thing with the Xbox as well.
Well, Xbox isn't even fully out yet. People have it and they're playing it, but like they're still updating it as it goes. All I'm going to say about PS5 is Spider-Man Miles Morales is a short game. That's all I got. Spider-Man Miles Morales is a short game.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a short game with no bells and whistles. I mean, it's their launch title. What do you expect?
No, I heard it's a beautiful game, though. The ray tracing and everything. It's more of I think it's probably more of an eye candy title than anything. But it's probably fun for whatever it is. Which I'm cool with. I'm cool with a short game as long as like it is really, really entertaining in the short term. Like I'm cool with that. But I don't want to be able to beat a game in like a half hour. Is what I'm saying. That's unacceptable.
I don't know, man. I got people are saying it's a short game and the system's not even out yet, so yikes. I mean, it's probably still fun to replay. It's probably got some replay value. Different suits and,
Yeah.
It's different suits. Like, I don't know what
else. I've been thinking about this for, at least 2 hours now, just about, and I think we're going to go with the title being Insane UFO Footage as the first part. Yeah, insane UFO footage. Hello to everybody in the chat. I can't see you guys yet because I'm actually in my web browser, but I'd imagine there's somebody there because there's always somebody there. Let's see. Documents.
Sci-Fi Gamer says, "What's up, maggots? Permission to play the Full Metal Jacket version, dubbed by Donald Duck. Yeah, Donald Duck."
Documents regarding interdimensional creatures.
Have you seen that?
What's that?
Oh God, you've never seen it? Damn.
No. I mean, like, what are you referring to?
The Full Metal Disney.
No.
Oh no. Oh, you missed. Like.
Full Metal Disney. Oh look, the description's already there. This is beautiful. I don't even have to do the description. God, that's so good.
Bro. Welcome to actual YouTube.
The tags are there.
Streaming from a PC, imagine.
Oh, dude, it's coming. I mean, it's coming.
We gotta get Shadow
here. No, Chris. That you are a bum.
Is that Deadly in the Discord chat here?
Wait, give me a second.
We're happy to have you, Deadly.
What?
It's nice of you to join. I gotta mute my TV though, otherwise we're gonna get some back talk from you. So let me just some double speak. No offense to Star Wars fan or any of those guys, but it'll echo.
I took off my headset.
Yeah, but the guys listening to the stream are gonna they'll hear them in the background, and it's probably going to get a little distracting. So, well, let's see who's in the chat before we even move on.
Hello.
Let's see who we got here. We got Sci-Fi. We got Emperor Palpatine,
you know
TG Cookie Monster, UNSC Aromatic. What is up?
Yes, I know. Deadly.
Mandor.
But you're a bum as well, so I don't know really why you're talking.
David Duke says, hello, Cortex White Brother. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. For those of you who don't know who David Duke is like a Klansman. Oh Christ. He said White Brother. Sorry man, I'm not in your club. Hate to disappoint you, but not part of that movement. But hey everybody, hope everybody had a great day today. Obviously this is the second episode of the live podcast, so I just want to lay down some stuff for you guys real quick. If anybody wants to participate in this, has any input, has anything interesting at all that they want to share, as far as like anything that would probably correlate with the topics that we're going to be talking about, you're free to join the Discord and do so. As long as we're going to have to vet it though. Like if you're somebody that we absolutely don't know, kind of a risk. So you'll probably have to establish some sort of like relationship with us first, until we get that type of thing sorted out. But if you're someone that's been here for a while, like Aromatic, anybody else that's really in the chat that we know, like, you know, Disney, for example, you should be fine. If you ever have anything that you would like for us to cover on the live show, if you find a link about an interesting story about a UFO sighting that was in your area, you found a really cool article about time travel, like things like that, you know, just like fringe topics as they call them, even though I wish I could really come up with a better word for it. Like, you know, the unexplained. We'll just go with that as a really broad term. Go join the Discord and start dropping links in the 0 hour section. You scroll all the way down.
Well, if they're not
on the left side there,
drop links to 0 hour, but you can drop them in UFOs or conspiracy theories. Those other channels.
True that. Yeah. Actually, you can just drop. And if you even just drop it in the regular main chat, we'll still check it. We'll still see it. But it would help though, I guess, if you categorize it. So if you got a UFO sighting, drop it in the UFO section. If you got a ghost hunting video, something to do with a haunting, drop it in the ghosts section. If it's something that doesn't really fit into a category, you know, I think there's what other sections do we have in there? So
paranormal.
Yeah, you can go with paranormal. If it's something that doesn't really fit a category, you could go with paranormal. That'd probably work. Yeah, we got general paranormal, haunted, UFOs, conspiracy theories, Star Wars, memes, photos, patrons. There's music.
Looks like you already got bombed with dislikes. You might want to go ahead and fix that.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you know? Big deal, right? I don't even, like. I really don't even. I don't really acknowledge
I have one thing to say to the person who does that. Is hold on. I got it.
Oh, I've been waiting to hear this because I know a lot of times that you're just in the chat, so to hear it with your own voice, this is actually going to be interesting.
Hold on, there it is, and it'll be on stream.
What did you do?
Hold on, it'll be. I'll make it. I'll make sure everybody can hear this. Hold on. I have one thing to say to you, and it is as follows. Where is my browser?
What's up, Diego?
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt! You make me sick, you big baby! Baby want a bottle? A big dirt bottle?
What are you yelling at me?
You're a loser!
Peggy Hill was down to her last pencil. She has no more pencils in reserve. Pencil! Like... Alright, let's get on with this shit, man. That's so funny. Oh, that's really great. Oh, man.
Well,
I remember...
you should be, because you...
Dude, we used to play that shit, like, all the time. Hank of the Hill.
Hank of the
Boggle.
Hill.
Boggle.
Dallas? That's Salad.
Dallas, Salad. These people are fighting. They're like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Like, if you... The YouTube poop video, Hank of the Hill... Smoke some weed and go watch that, because that's exactly what I did, and oh my god, it was like the funniest shit I ever saw in my life. So, let me get into the Discord chat here. Do you want to just like, Well, I'm just wondering what order should we do everything in, as far as like what we have for the show today that we compiled over the last couple hours. Should we do it in the order?
But we could, yeah, so we don't miss anything.
I was gonna say, you know what? We should just kind of like. I feel like we should maybe save some of the better stuff for like the middle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's see here. Okay, starting right here. I was talking to my cousin about the Jupiter remote viewing thing. For anybody that missed that, we found evidence that remote viewers, guys that can see what's happening in other places that they are not, it's a psychic ability, discovered the rings around Jupiter 5 years before it was discovered by Voyager. It's like, and it blew my mind right on the just right on the middle of the stream. I was just like, oh my god. How about we start with Jetpack Man?
Yeah, it's fine.
So this, all right, a lot of the stuff that we got for you guys today we're pulling from Reddit. We don't have as much to read today, so much as we do to show you. There's a lot more stuff that we want to show you. Yeah, we're kind of we're winging it. This, as we get used to doing this show, it'll get better with time. But let me I'm gonna go to the stream on my internet browser just so I can lower the volume and actually see the clip without hearing myself, because then I'm gonna keep shit at myself. Yeah. So if you want to go ahead and play it whenever.
All right.
By all means. So yeah, this clip, I'm not really sure what country it comes from.
I think it's right on Mexico or something, they said. Reportedly from Mexico in October.
Yeah, it is Mexico. There's been multiple sightings of this thing. One of them I have saved to my phone. A lot of the stuff we're pulling from Reddit, it literally looks like a floating humanoid. They call it Jetpack Man because it literally looks like a guy floating with a jetpack, but it's been spotted in Mexico. It's actually a pretty famous sighting from like the 90s even, and they called it like the floating witch man or the floating witch or something like that. There's one that I saw the other day where it actually, all right, this one was wild. It was over LAX. It was over the LAX airport. I wonder if we could try to find that one. The LAX Jetpack Man. It looked like a white Michelin man, but floating in the sky, turning, moving his arms, all that weird shit. But the strange thing is the elevation he was at is not an elevation that any known jetpacker has ever reached. So, like, if this was someone with a jetpack, they were breaking a world record. Oh, look at this, because I hadn't even seen it. Now, a lot of the stuff you guys are going to see today on the live stream, you are seeing with me for the first time, or I'm actually seeing it in full for the first time. There's things that I looked at very briefly where I was like, okay, that should be good enough. But you know what? It looks like it landed even. We're gonna be like the new third phase of Moon with other things included here, besides UFOs.
Looking for the jetpack footage right now of Jetpack Man over LAX.
The LAX.
It's hard to find.
It was on TikTok. I wonder. Hold on, let me see if I still have the file.
It was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean that's right around the time that I had.
But they're not like actually showing any footage. They're only showing a guy with a jetpack and how they work.
Oh, really?
Oh, they're showing the.
I have it. I have my tick. Can I post a video clip into the?
You should be able to.
Let me see if I can here.
Because I should be able to hyperlink to it.
Here, let me share. See what the share button does for me. No, I don't want. No, don't do that. This one's wild. I actually have to add it back to my new TikTok because I was getting shadow banned all crazy. Does Discord even? Yep, there's the Discord button. Share to channel. Which one are we in right now?
0.
What channel are we in? Just the regular. Okay, here I'm just gonna put it right into 0 hour. Send. You guys are gonna get a kick out of this. Your files are too powerful.
Oh, it's trying to upload the file itself. Try grabbing the link and then just copying it into 0 hour. In the meantime,
There is no link.
Hmm.
Here, you know what I can do as we're like going through the show. Here, you know what? Look, I got an idea. I'm just gonna repost it to TikTok real quick, and then I'll just post the TikTok link. How's that? I can do it really quickly.
See how that works?
Not take long at all. This one is way better than the one that we just showed. I promise you that. Way better. They're zoomed all the way in on it with a fairly decent camera. It almost seems like it's maybe not even a cell phone camera, but like an actual, like, not a Nikon, maybe not something like that damn good, but something a little bit better than what you would find with a cell phone.
You know what would be good for this channel, and a lot of people probably don't even know about, is a 2012 sun UFO that was latched onto the sun back in 2012. Remember that video?
Oh, dude. Yeah, I do remember that.
Do
you remember the video? Do you remember that video that was taken? You know how they have that, like, they have that thing that they have like that almost like telescope thing that's like pointed at the sun, and we can see all the details on the sun. And there was that giant orb that flies up to the sun and like connects to the sun, shoots out like a tether.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's multiples of those we've seen. We've like documented multiples of those.
So weird. That one's really fucking great. Now we do have something related to the sun that I think I dropped in the in the Discord chat. That one's gonna be interesting. Let's see. 1, 2. Make sure I get the right amount of tags in here. 1, 2, 3. 4. Yeah, I have it. The 1, 5. The jetpack guy. You guys are gonna get a kick out of this, so it's just gonna take a second to post to my TikTok, and then I'll drop the link. Yeah, it's already 63%. Should be okay. So this one, again, this next clip we're going to show you guys is from LAX. If you don't know what that is, that's the Los Angeles International Airport, obviously, in Los Angeles. And this was, I guess these, I don't know if they were outside, like, waiting, like, to get inside or looking out a window. But again, the elevation at which this object is really, really high. Like, real high up. I'm not really even sure how they spotted it, but this one's weird, man. Get ready, because I'm about to drop the link.
This doesn't look like shit on fucking browser. Weird. It's TikTok and browser. They sometimes don't get along.
Yeah, well, we'll do our best.
Let's see. Current video unavailable.
Get more sensitive to the force, probably.
What the fuck?
According to
video
now more sensitive to the force.
Oh shit.
Right, the chat's doing. See who's here. Dills is here. What's going on, man?
Our video unavailable
glad to have all y'all here
for the 4th time.
Let's see how this comes out. I'm sure
hey,
it should
Tom,
be fine.
Your fucking mic isn't working. Oh, it is. You're just not listening. Not available.
Oh yeah. Not available.
Yeah. I said it 4 times. Not available.
It's not available.
Yeah.
Really? Well, I'll play it.
I dropped the image of what I saw on the.
Well, how about I'll take at least a screenshot of it. I'll take a couple screenshots of it so you guys can kind of get an idea of the shape of the object. This is some of the funkiest fucking footage. All right, so this thing is rotating in the sky, and as it's rotating, like you can see, like its back leg, blah blah blah. If you want to call it that, because again, it has like feet, it has legs. So there's that. Like he literally looks like a Michelin man / like an astronaut. Like it's just. There we go. That's a decent image of it. Really, this is some funky shit, man. Like there's the idea that and I've read this, there's been some data drops from Tom DeLonge from To the Stars Academy. Everybody knows him from Blink-182. Now he's like dedicated the rest of his life in the pursuit of UFO disclosure. He has said that these objects are capable of basically looking like whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, they're sentient. It's not a vehicle. People mistake them for vehicles, objects. They're not objects. They're things.
Like, what in the hell even is that? Like, that's so strange to me. So
I'm trying to find the actual video of it.
Yeah, the video itself is like, it's
impossible to find.
miraculous.
First off, what the fuck?
All right, Aromatic will be here. He'll definitely be here. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? It's like, it's just you gotta wonder, like, if these vehicles are something aside from an actual vehicle as we understand it, like, there's like two options here. Are they breaking the laws of physics because they come from a dimension where the physics are different, and when you transfer between the two, you're able to break laws? Or are they following the laws of physics and we just don't understand physics?
We don't understand
as good
the
as
full
we could.
laws of physics. We just figured out gravity a little while ago, so I don't know.
I am with you on the latter of the two.
100%. I always come back to we just until recently figured out that the Earth was round? Was it like? So
yeah,
you know, one of those things.
It's very true. It's very true. You know, again, science is a continuous operation. Science is ever changing, ever growing.
That's hella high up in the air, by the way. Like, I'm sure if everybody realizes how high that man is off the ground. It's somebody looking up with their camera.
Shit.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's
cell
phone quality.
Stay over here. Yeah, it is because I'm coming in through a cell phone. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? This is as good as we can do for right now. Until I would imagine I will probably get the computer set up in probably sometime in December. So about a month. I'm aiming for.
Nope.
Hyde says, "Oh my god, I'm so scared. Please, how can I remove the dislikes?" What do you mean, how can you remove the dislikes? What are you talking about? Who is this guy in the chat talking about dislikes?
I don't know, but I just like him.
McGate says, "Oh my god, this is so scary." Well, welcome both of you to the stream. Obviously you're new here, so we're happy to have you. Mike, you know what, man? I think we need to blow their minds. I think we should play the snake.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think we should. All right, now, you guys, this next clip we're going to show you here is UFO footage from, I think, the 4th of November. And this is from my state. This is from New Jersey. And, oh, someone is saying that I need to donate to you to remove my dislikes. You don't have to donate anything to me, man. It's a troll. Just ignore it.
People are disliking your video, and it's because they're trolls. They came in here and dislike bombed us as soon as we went live.
Yeah, they dislike bomb us too, man. Are you dislike bombing my stream, or is it a troll? It's a troll, man. This has been, if you, like, I even posted a video about this like a month ago. If you go look through my videos, and I'm not just trying to get you to like watch my videos, I'm just saying, like, it's there. There's a video of me sitting in my car driving. It's like a vlog post, and it says, "We are not sending trolls to other streams." Like, it's right there. Yeah, this is a guy that's made like very serious threats over the internet, and it's getting really old, and I've even contacted the police, and he thinks that I'm kidding. But his name's Mac and Cheese. But that's enough of that. So don't worry about it. Trust me. You're always welcome here. No, everyone here is cool. We're all friendly. We're not going to bother your YouTube channel. I don't even know your channel. And I'm not that kind of guy. So
we promise
we're just trying to run a nice show over here.
Tom, what you should do is you should stop disabling your dislikes, because they come here and realize that you have your likes and dislikes disabled and don't see how many dislikes you got. We got the same amount over here. There's no fucking difference.
Yeah, if I were to start showing my likes and dislikes, you guys would easily see that, like, it's the same situation. If you actually rewind the stream to earlier, you can hear Mike saying to me, "Hey, I think someone's dislike bombing your stream," and I even like
around the 2-minute mark. That's how quick it was. All right, let's go on.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, let's get on with this. So this footage, again, it's coming from New Jersey. That's where I'm at. And this is honestly one of the wildest UFO videos I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen similar videos where there's like objects metamorphosizing. morphing. You know, they're changing and morphing into different objects. There's little pieces of it coming off. If this is like all of those things in one, Mike, hit that play button, dude. Let them see this.
Already ahead of you.
This almost looks like, you know what it reminds me of? It's like a gummy worm, like a glowworm. Like
it looks like there's like 50 orbs on each strand. That's what it reminds me of. It looks like there's like 50 orbs on each strand.
I didn't even think of it like that. But you could see that one little section kind of pops off there.
Yeah, they're like separate entities. They're all just a conglomerate, kind of like how some animals, like schools of fish. I mean,
how do you even describe this? Right. How do you describe this to somebody? Like verbally, where it's like it doesn't sound like complete nonsense. I mean, that's just how I know it's a short clip, but I mean, it's just so weird. And like there's one thing I look for when it comes to videos where I try to determine whether or not it's fake. If you notice when you see a lot of CGI videos, the camera shake. A lot of times the superimposed object. Makeda, I hope I'm saying your name right. Hey, what's up, Blue Kitten? He said, what the fuck, what even is that? Sanity, have a nice stream, my man. Best wishes. You too, man. Appreciate you guys that came over from the other stream. I hope you guys all have a safe rest of your week. Appreciate you guys telling me what's going on, because I know that guy's bothering a lot of people, and I do feel bad about it, but he's doing it to us too, man, so we're all in this together. But an object like that, first of all, you don't see that every day. Like, usually when you see a UFO, it's just like, a lot of times it appears to be at least a solid object, like, a mechanical object, silver, maybe glowing. But this is like a whole nother level of weird. Oh, Hyde sent a $1 donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. That was very kind of you. Always appreciated. That was very nice of you.
I want to know where the rest of the footage is. That's what I want to know.
Well, right. I feel like this was clipped from somewhere else. But okay, as far as like faking footage, like the camera shake, usually the CGI superimposed object doesn't follow the same shake. Like if you look at it and break it down frame by frame, you'll find like dips and dives and variations where they don't quite line up. Where if you do it really, really well, you can still spot it, but you usually have to slow it down. This, on the other hand, I looked at this and put it in super slow motion. I actually have software where I can really slow it the hell down, and I can't find it, man. I think this is
really
real.
Like sets me off is that it's like one thing until it takes the V shape, and then it cuts across the top, and it cut across into two things that like seem to work on its own, and then the one thing splits on the bottom, and then it cuts across the top and splits the other line into two parts, and that two-part section doesn't ever fully conjoin back into the single line. It like tries and like kind of fails and is like getting mixed up with a bunch of different energies, and that's what really like puts me off to like this being more realistic than we might think.
It's, again though, there's certain angles closer to the end of the clip where I'm with you, man. It almost looks like it's a bunch of those little orbs in like a fleet, like a school of fish.
Especially at the very beginning of it, you'll see on the next replay that one just disconnects. And it's just like the regular one we see. It was like, I don't have anything to do with this. Wild. Well, in dreams, I've seen fleets of these. It's like the scout ship idea. Yeah, because I know you've had some weird dreams, dude. I've had dreams where you see fleets of these orbs. Like, I'm talking armadas. Like, the whole sky's lit up. Like, they replaced the stars. Like, it's like that. Like, that's how many there are. I got something
I can add to that idea. You ever seen that famous... I'm going to find it right now. There's that very famous painting where they used to draw newspapers back in the day. They didn't really have a printing press. This is like the 14 or 15, maybe even 1600s. Let's see, UFO battle over Germany. Do you know? I'm sure some of you may recognize this.
Oh, are you talking about the
1561 celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg, April 14th, 1561?
I see.
They didn't have photographs, so they drew what they saw.
Well, I heard there's pictures of these things. Like they're today known as the cigar phenomena, and you could take like pictures of the wreckage of these things sitting in space still. But they're like translucent and see-through and weird. And
NASA has caught them on ISS cam and shuttle cam. I've seen them floating by. They have those weird like rings floating by that look like they're like flashing, and then then they cut the feed. That's you know what in the next episode. In the next episode, I'm gonna have to make a note of that. We should try to show some of the best UFO footage that was taken during like space missions, because some of that stuff is really like it's really hard to debunk, because space junk and ice crystals and all that. It's like, well, I didn't know ice crystals could slow down, blink, glow, and then take off at like breakneck speed. I didn't know ice crystals could do that. It's actually it must be science, right? Like it's obviously intelligently controlled.
Right,
I mean, it's really obvious.
Ice crystals, you're telling me? Ice crystals. That's what we're going with. First it was weather balloons.
So that's
ice
the
crystals?
image there. That's the celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg, as it's referred to, and then there's also
the long ships. No kidding.
Then there's also this from the same time. I believe this is a different publication from the time. Obviously, way back in history here, but again, people have been reporting seeing these things in the sky for like more than just decades. We're talking centuries now. We are talking centuries. These beings, whoever they are, whatever they are, whatever the hell was going on, they've been monitoring us, I believe, for a really long time. I don't know why, but they have been. That's really. I mean, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? A lot of very famous. A lot of very famous pieces of photography and UFO footage from across the world, which what we should really do in another future episode is maybe go through some of the best UFO photographs and pieces of footage ever. Like here, I'll just throw up one really good example right now, because I know some of you are brand new to this, and maybe you're getting a little more interested in it because I'm always talking about it, even during the Battlefront streams. But this is an incident that occurred back in the.
They were trying to shoot these things down. Do you see the cannons, the little cannons down there?
1942. Do you know what? You probably know exactly. You probably know exactly what image I'm about to show. Is February 25th, 1942. This image, this incident, even, is known as the Battle of Los Angeles. This is one of the most famous photographs of a UFO ever captured. You can see its shape. Here, I found a... Oh, yeah, here's a much higher quality one. They shot, like, thousands of artillery rounds at this thing, and it didn't budge. Like, this is during World War II. They thought this was the Japanese. Some people have tried to debunk it and said, oh, the Japanese... it was declassified. The Japanese were attempting to send bombs with balloons over across the Pacific Ocean and all this. But, like, if it was a balloon, why is it that big? And why is it that when we shot it with, like, 10,000 artillery shells, it just sat there motionless in the sky? Balloons move, they get carried by the breeze, and they pop. So here, let me throw this in the chat here. This is an amazing photo. I also have the newspaper article, the original newspaper print, if you want to see that image. But let's throw that in the 0 hour there. This is like an incredible photograph. Like some of the best evidence out there, in my opinion, at least. I mean, this is. Oh
yeah, that's like with all the I think Merry Melodies, like Looney Tunes, like they did a skit on this with the black and white, the two black cats and Tweety Bird. This is what they were shooting at. They were shooting at them, but in reality, it was actually UFOs.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it closely, you can see it. Like it's like a classic flying saucer shape. If you like, you blur your eyes a little bit, you can even see like that. Kind of get a different idea, but like
in the middle,
you can see the little dome in the middle. Yeah, I mean, this really happened. So, like, tell me what that is. What is that? Like, and then, again, there's been a lot of stuff in recent times too. Like Commander David Fravor, he was even on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was on Lex Friedman's podcast. Another good guy who's actually been on Joe Rogan's podcast. Real smart guy. Commander Fravor is a fighter pilot. These guys are no joke. And he chased a UFO. He chased the thing that they called the Tic Tac. He watched this thing do things that like are not supposed to be possible with a pilot. Like if you're for example, if you're going like Mach 3, which you don't even have to be going Mach 3 for this, but I'm just using it as an example. Imagine going 3 times the speed of sound, which means 3 times 767 miles per hour. So we're talking over, well over 2,000 miles per hour. And then you just come to a dead stop. If you do that, first of all, if you even have the technology to do that kind of thing, the person piloting it is going to be splattered all over the front of that plane or ship or whatever the object is, because inertia, centripetal force, gravity, all those things take effect. Like you can't just come to this is why if you're going really fast in a car and you slam on the brakes, sometimes you lurch forward in your seat. Like this is not like this is technology that we just don't have, and we're seeing things using it. So I mean, what? That's why when people are like, "Oh well, it could have been a bird," it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Could have been a bird? Oh man, yeah, a bird from like Epsilon 9 or some shit. Like a bird from the 12th dimension. Oh my goodness! Just
bird from Alpha Centauri.
Right, like Zeta Reticuli. Like I just cannot understand how some people that I can listen. I'm not hating on the idea of being skeptical. You should always remain skeptical. You should use discernment, use your perception, use your common sense. Occam's razor, I get it. But I am using Occam's razor here. It is more likely that this is a high piece of technology from another planet than it is a bird. Like it's hit that point. We're at the tipping point in the UFO phenomenon where I'll tell you guys this too, because we should do it real. I did a video about this. You guys a lot of you probably watched it, about the New York Times article that talked about off-world vehicles not made on this earth. Harry Reid, former Senate Majority Leader, admitted on film in that documentary, The Phenomenon, even said that most of the evidence hasn't seen the light of day. There's been a cover-up involving the military and the private sector for decades, and he also said that these things have been interfering at nuclear facilities. They've been shutting down missiles. This guy was the most powerful man in the U.S. Senate, and he said this on video. There's no questioning it anymore.
What?
We have moved on from that. We've moved on. This is no longer a matter of are UFOs real.
No,
it's a matter of who are they and what do they want. Wait, who just said something? I just heard somebody. What's up? I mean, you guys can chime in, man. I know I'm like going off on a tangent here, but like, feel free.
Chilling, bro.
So, we'll share the Tic Tac footage at some point. We'll save that for another episode. Here, let's go back into the 0 hour. Let's see what else we got here that we compiled for you guys today. Okay, so that's the jetpack man. Why don't we hit this story from the two horned aliens from the 90s. 2 aliens with horns on their heads.
We never got through the sun yet.
Oh wait, did you pull that up yet?
Nah, we haven't yet.
Oh yeah, pull that up. Why don't we do that? I haven't even seen it yet, really. I saw like the image that was on, it was like the header for that Reddit post, but I didn't actually like look at it yet. You guys are gonna like this. Is it a piece of footage or is it a photo?
It's like dated photos from NASA.
Oh, yeah, oh yeah. So these are from NASA, guys. Like this is what we're looking at here. That's the sun. And there's apparently an object that's going to be coming into frame here that
NASA satellite EIT-304 captured massive alien spacecraft firing a beam at the sun.
Look at that. What the hell is that?
The images show that 2 different craft appear as to what a scout
and
look
at that.
attack unit.
At that. He said scout and attack unit. It's like, how are we supposed to know what the fuck that is? Like, really?
We would assume one's light and then one's shaped like a diamond. Like, weird. Oh, actually,
now,
hold on.
Understandably so, whatever that actually is, if it's not a video artifact and it's an actual object,
Let's back it up here.
It's next to the sun. I mean, do you realize how big that's gonna have to be? Like, I mean, dude, that thing's probably like the size of the moon. You know what I mean? I mean, it's huge. Huge. I mean, because it's possible that whoever's doing this, whatever these objects are, they have the technology to probably harvest stars. So that would make them what, like a Type 3 civilization, Type 2? They're able to you know, on the Kardashev scale, where they're actually able to utilize the true power of the star. Like, that's some shit right there. What are you? What I mean, what? How do you explain that one? I mean, I think there's a that one you can kind of debunk. I think it could just be a video artifact, but I've seen a lot of pieces of footage like this that were a lot more clear, and I think there is something to it that I don't know what it is, but yeah, let's hit the horned aliens.
We'll get a second before that. We'll go to the Jupiter size fucking spacecraft of whatever the Jupiter UFO sighting.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. I haven't even seen that myself yet. Because I know you dropped some links earlier.
I have shown you.
Oh, you think I have
down your throat? I forced that down your throat when it happened.
Okay. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I have seen it then. I know I've seen so much. It's kind of ridiculous.
Back in 2012, yeah. Like, we've had discussions about this thing.
Oh, it's that one.
Yep.
This is the one where it's... Oh, yeah. Here we are. You guys are going to... Look at this. Look at this video clip. Look down in the bottom left-hand corner.
The size of Jupiter.
This thing, whatever that is, it's the size of Jupiter. Just watch what it does. Like, dude... That's still one of the weirdest videos I've ever seen in my life. Like, size of Jupiter. Dude, is it possible that there's entities, like, living out in space, and that's, like, a planet-sized creature? Do you know what I mean? Like, as opposed to it being, like, a craft?
Right.
Because you know what? I'm not trying to even be funny, but it looks like a sperm cell. You know, like, it does.
For me, it looks like,
That is so weird.
There's a thing called the what is it? It's in Halo. It's like a Halo thing for the prophets or whatever. The Truth and Reconciliation or some shit. I don't remember what the hell it is. High Charity. High Charity. It looks like that big ship that the damn prophets are on, like the Prophet Homeworld or whatever.
Yeah. So I see Blue Kitten said, could it be a sun ray? No, because it's like, again, it's an object that has form. It's not emanating from the sun. It approaches the sun, attaches itself to the sun, and then moves away. Much different. Like, it's not a solar flare. Like, solar flares don't look anything like that. And that thing was round. It was like an orb that like shot out orb. like a tether or something, you know, like an umbilical cord, for lack of a better term. And it just, you know, it's like it's siphoning energy from the sun. Like, it's so funny because, again, there's all these videos that I've seen on the internet over the last 8 years specifically that I can remember, because I remember the first time I ever saw something like that, it was 2012. And it's approaching the sun. Now, what would be a perfect energy source for an interstellar traveler or just about anything that needs power in the universe? It's stars. Stars
more safe
are literally natural
source.
Nuclear power stations. Yeah,
our
exactly.
Star is small. It's like toward the end of its life, so it's safer. It's not a white dwarf, so it's not as dangerous in terms of gravity. It's like everything it needs, you know? Yeah.
It's the perfect energy source.
Or not only that, you know, it's a Goldilocks star.
Could it be that perhaps it wasn't taking energy from the sun? Could it be maybe extending its life cycle, knowing that there's a living civilization next to it, and they're like, hey, let's give these guys a hand?
Well, given how these things, like, they look like balls of plasma when we see the UFOs or whatever, and...
That's a really good way to put it.
It looks like it is harvesting. Like, and it doesn't look like it's harvesting from the core or anything. It looks like it's just getting what its surface, you know, needs, like, off the surface.
It looks
like
a virus. That's the best way I can
think about it. Yeah.
It looks like we're looking at a virus under a microscope that's attacking a cell. Like, I mean, it's the best way to put it. Honestly, that's
the stars being the nucleus of a solar system.
It's a really. I always thought that was one of the wildest pieces of footage I ever saw in my entire life. I just could not wrap my head around it. Like, is that swamp gas? You know what I mean? Like, are we gonna use that excuse?
You know what that looks like? A weather balloon. It was obviously a Jupiter-sized
weather balloon. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They were doing
swamp
some
gas
tests
in space too. They were doing some tests. Yeah, it's that mission George Bush wanted to do, where he wanted to send a ship to the sun. Do you guys?
Oh yeah, with all the garbage. That? Yeah, I remember that. Got it from New York or whatever.
Good old George W.
That was Futurama.
Recruitments. That was my favorite word he ever made up. Recruitments. I don't know what that really means to him, but I know what it means to the English language, and it's nothing because it's not a word.
We've had some really good, great leaders. Just saying.
Really great leaders. I mean, all right. Let's take a moment. Here. I think we need to address the election a little bit.
Oof.
So, as you guys all know, Biden's been declared the winner. You guys know I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a Trump supporter, but nor am I a Biden supporter. Really. There is a lot going on right now. A lot of moving parts. And it appears, it has been suggested that there was mass voter fraud. Now, the mainstream media has reported that there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud, but the problem I have with that
is
that there's been widespread reports of it. Right. That's the giveaway.
Yeah,
they're claiming that the U.S. elections are always secure.
The government wouldn't lie to you.
You know what's funny, too? I just want to make a point, too. There's an old video on my YouTube channel from 2016, from when I first started my YouTube channel, where I was talking about how there were George Soros owned voting machines in key battleground states. I believe it was. If you don't know who George Soros is, I'm not going to really go too far down that rabbit hole. I don't mean to sound like Alex Jones because I know that annoys some people, but George Soros is a very leftist, very rich individual who I'm pretty sure one of the James Bond villains was based on, and I'm not even saying that to joke around. This guy funds a lot of the chaos and protests that happened last year during the BLM marches. He funds that. He gives people money to go out there and throw bricks.
Remember, he was on the fucking stage. He ran.
What stage?
He was in the debates. He ran, didn't he? George Soros was on the stage, wasn't he?
No.
Was it?
No, I don't think so. No. George Soros is literally from.
Sure, you're not talking about Rothschild?
No, I'm talking about George Soros, because Soros owns some of the voting machines in this country were literally owned by a company that he owns, or something of that nature. George Soros, here, let me just bring him up. I mean, as soon as you search for him, not only is he one of the creepiest men I've ever seen in my life, but I mean, he just looks like pure evil. To be honest, if I had to judge a book by its cover, which I know I shouldn't do, the guy literally looks like he is out to get somebody. He just does not look thrilled to be here.
Oh, it was Bloomberg, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. Michael Bloomberg. Yeah, George Soros, Han FBA. I don't even know what that means, honestly. Is a Hungarian. Hey, he's Hungarian like me. I guess that's cool. A Hungarian-born American billionaire, investor, and philanthropist. As of May 2020, he had a net worth of $8.3 billion, having donated more than $32 billion to the Open Society Foundations, which I'm pretty sure that's a globalist, get rid of borders, screw nationalism kind of foundation, if I'm not mistaken. Born in Budapest, Soros survived German-occupied Hungary and moved to the United Kingdom in 1947. He is 90 years old. I mean, he is considered by many, in the truther community at least, to be one of the most evil men on the face of this earth.
One of the grand poobahs of the Illuminati, right?
Yeah. 11 hours ago, Gingrich pushes Soros stole the election conspiracy theory on Fox News. Yep. Let's see. George Soros injected big bucks into Silicon Valley's anti-Trump super PAC. FEC records show. So yeah, this guy is actively trying to he's actively trying to influence our elections with his money. No question. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. That's Washington Times too. Yeah. The Soros story here.
I understand he's trying to, but like everybody's trying to, and that's the problem with our election system.
Right. The money is really the money's really talking. Money is always talking. So let's see now, if we go to Open Society Foundations, under George Soros' leadership, the Open Society Foundations support individuals and organizations across the globe fighting for freedom of expression, accountable government, and societies that promote justice and equality. Interesting. Well, I literally never hear a good thing about this guy, like, ever. I mean, I always hear people complaining about him. I always hear about how he's always trying to swing our elections in favor of the Democrats, which, again, it should just be up to the people. It's not like if he was doing it for the Republicans, I would still be bitching, because it's a matter of we the people it's our vote. It should not have anything to do with him. But I don't want to go too far off track here with what we were discussing. But the election itself is still in question. Don't let the media fool you into thinking otherwise. I don't mean to sound like a Trumper. I'm not a Trumper. But again, lawsuits are being filed. They're going to drag this out as far as they can. And Trump, he really believes that that this election is in question, and that there were a lot of votes that should not have been counted. There were dead people receiving ballots. This happened 4 years ago as well. They tried to pull this stunt back then, where, if you had a grandparent or something that had passed away 2 years prior, they're still sent a ballot, which then somebody could just forge. They could just fill it in and send it right out. Just forge their signature. They don't see. That's the thing. They're not really checking signatures. They're not. And then the poll watchers are getting treated like garbage. There's people not allowed to watch certain things in key battleground states. So when Trump had made a tweet about how his team wasn't allowed to observe, I guess, some of the ballot counting, there is a problem with that statement. It's not that it was his direct team. Apparently, there were a lot of areas in which people that were supposed to be there poll watching were not allowed to do it, or people that may have been working on behalf of certain campaigns, maybe even local, were there to watch the ballot counting. They were shut out. They were boarding up windows. I mean, we could pull up the video of them boarding up the windows. Like, that's right out there in the open.
Well, if we don't want to get fact-checked and all that, so we have to actually censor ourselves here. Like,
yeah, I know.
We're not trying to shadow ban the whole channel, because that's how, it's democracy these days. You talk about something and there you go.
Yeah, it's not about a recount or getting the validity of the election back into good standing, where it's like, let's get Trump back into the White House. Like, I don't like Donald Trump. What I'm looking for here is to make sure that I can actually trust the election. I have never trusted the United States elections. Never. Not in my entire life. Not once. I can remember as far back as when Gore and Bush were campaigning. And that whole hanging Chad crap happened down in Florida. And that, like, planted the seeds, I believe, where I was just like, I said to my parents when I was a little kid, this is pre-9/11. I'm pretty young here. I'm like 4th or 5th grade. I'm like, yeah, no, not for anything, but I kind of feel like George Bush may have cheated. And at the time, wasn't as wise as I am now. It was probably more so that, like, Jeb Bush, George Bush's father even, Dick Cheney, they probably had a hand in it. All the crazy neocons. Like, I feel like we cannot really trust the outcomes of these elections currently in its current form. Like, if they had like a 100% secure, like, super intelligent artificial intelligence apparatus in which we use to vote, and we could be 100% sure that the votes were being counted correctly and that nobody could access it, there's no backdoor, nothing couldn't be hacked, couldn't be tampered with, and then the election came out that Joe Biden won, then Joe Biden won. And then we hold him accountable. which I'm going to do anyways if it so happens that after all of this, fighting in court and everything that Trump's going to attempt to do here, if we still end up with Biden, I'm going to do like I would do with any president of the United States. I am going to hold them accountable, and we're going to put pressure on them to act in favor of the American people. I mean, it's really just that simple. Mike, I know you have really, really strong feelings about this. Like, where do you think this is going, and what are your fears? Because I know you have a lot.
The current situation with the internet is a cesspool for opinions and not much evidence to, like, mostly anything. Like, anything you find is normally an opinion piece. How many times do you click any kind of news article, be it about science? It's normally opinion pieces. Even science right now is pretty shaky as is, and if we're going to put our entire election system into mailing ballots, like mail ballots, like that kind of like bugs me, because not only are we not counting these ballots by hand like we should be, human error one thing, computer error and easily manipulated another.
Very, very easy.
I mean, for God's sakes, we can manipulate them through the damn phone lines or whatever servers they're attached to. Like, it's not that hard. Right. It's very shaky, and for them to embrace laziness over accuracy is what kind of bothers me, and it's been bothering me ever since the Bush era, because the Bush vote, it was decided by an electronic regulating system, an electronic counting system.
Yeah, it was.
Like, so why are we continuing to do this? We're having such closer and closer elections, and we continue to use the failed practices.
It feels like these failed practices are in place so somebody could take advantage of it.
That's exactly what the right is trying to say. And that's the problem.
Again, I'm getting crucified by people that I know, by people online sometimes, where they're like, "Oh, you call yourself a libertarian or whatever the hell, but you're defending the conservatives." It's like, no, you don't understand. It's not a matter of me siding with conservatives. I'm going to side with anybody that doesn't have a voice, where they're not allowed to speak, where they get censored, where I just want a balanced system where, like, I picture it as
centrists and libertarians, the moderates and libertarians. They don't have voices right now. They're not allowed. They can't have an opinion.
Yeah, that's me.
Have an opinion.
And that's me. That's me. I picture it like a table. There's a big long table, bunch of chairs on either side of the table. This is how this is how the internet really should work. In a political setting. On one side of the table, maybe you got you got people who think maybe similarly. You got the Democrats, you got your very, very far leftist, you got your socialists, maybe your Marxists, whatever, things that can be categorized as left-ish. And then on the right, Republicans, Tea Party, whatever. Like, I don't agree with a lot. I agree with what I agree with. There's a whole crowd of people I don't agree with. But everyone should be able to come to that table and have a voice, is what I'm saying. That's what America was built upon. We were supposed to be built upon freedom of expression, freedom of press, pursuit of happiness, freedom of religion, as long as you're not hurting anybody. The right to assemble. Right to bear arms, again, that's a very broad statement. We can get into specifics about assault rifles and things like that. That's for another time. But people should be able to talk to each other. If we're shutting out some of those voices and just kind of pushing them away, like, nah, you don't matter. Like, it's one thing when you're silencing, like, white nationalists and groups that are known for extreme hate, violence, and things that are just generally disgusting. Where you're oppressing another race, again, that's something we're trying to get out of the habit of doing as a species. Like, that I can understand. If someone goes on the internet and starts saying things about African Americans that are really distasteful, or talking about, hey, I don't think this particular race should be able to go to school with white kids, stuff like that. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. Go ahead, or go right ahead and censor that. I'll be real honest with you. Like, because I really feel like that's so beyond counterproductive to society. Like, it's hateful, it's wrong, it goes against what I believe in as somebody who could identify, I guess, as a libertarian. It's disgusting. You guys on this channel know I'm very anti-racism. I don't support it. I absolutely hate it, to be really frank about it. But when you're shutting out voices that are concerned about equality in this country, democracy, a fair voting system, and then they're bringing some of their ideas that they bring to the table you don't agree with, why is it okay for you to shut them up? But if you were to try to do the same to them, it's outrageous. You're shutting out voices that need to be heard. It's like, well, you're doing the same thing. Again, this is one of those situations where it's like, it's okay if you do it, but not if I do it. And that's my problem, is that I just want people to be able to come together, have a conversation with each other, and let's just get shit done in the best interest of this country. We're too busy fighting over which old guy's in the White House right now.
It's a two-party system. The two-party system has run its course.
It really has. Hey, Grim Reaper, I see you I see all you guys in the chat. Riffs, Reborn, Cookie Monster. It has run its course. Yeah, here, I got one for you, Mike. I got one for you. I'm going to drop this one in the Discord server. And this may not hit home with everybody, but I'll make sure to explain it, because this one really irritated me. This was like 3 o'clock in the morning I took this screenshot. My stomach was killing me. I was kind of up trying to distract myself with my phone. And I was on Twitter. And there was a certain political figure in the world that made a brash comment about how our election sucks, which I get it. I agree. But then you're talking about how the U.S. is crumbling and that we're a joke, and, how there's something about like political liberalism is toxic or something like that. I don't remember the whole quote, but this was stunning. All right, listen. I don't like Trump. I feel like I'm being a dead horse. It's really annoying that I have to keep saying that. But look at this screenshot. This is from Twitter. We censored the United States president in the United States, but the Ayatollah of Iran is allowed to have a Twitter. A guy who has openly called for the death of our president, whether we like him or not, it's beyond the point. They put a bounty on Trump's head after we killed one of their generals, which I guess they have a right to do that. But my point, because it's their country, they can do whatever they want over there. But my point is that they're giving this guy a platform who has openly called for the destruction of this country. He has called us the Great Satan. Did you pull it up, Mike?
I pull it up because you got like people's faces on the actual, you got Facebook faces up there. So I'm gonna go.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. You're fine with that. You're fine with that. She's somebody that's not gonna care. You're totally fine with that. That's Alicia. Everybody knows who Alicia is. She's been in my chat. Real life friend. She's totally cool. I mean, if you want to try to zoom in on her or crop her, whatever you want to do. But I don't personally think I care. But, yeah. The situation in the U.S. and what they themselves say about their elections is a spectacle. This is an example of the ugly face of liberal democracy in the U.S. Regardless of the outcome, one thing is absolutely clear: the definite political, civil, and moral decline of the U.S. regime. Like, this is a guy who, if he could get away with it, would drop bombs on all of us. He's allowed to say this on Twitter. But they're censoring our own president, and they're censoring conservatives, they're censoring moderates, they're censoring libertarians, they're censoring people that are generally in the middle, but they're letting the Ayatollah of Iran talk shit on Twitter.
Switch
Mike,
it up.
why is this happening?
Catch the next one, because this is more tweets. Just gotta wait for it to get there.
You got something else to add here? I mean, this is nuts.
There you go. Read away.
Yeah, let me zoom in here just so I can actually... So I can see it here. Pause here. I can't really zoom in very much. Can you, like, throw that up on Discord, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, trying to zoom in on there is, like, absolutely impossible. This is why the PC thing is gonna be great. Yeah, this is good. That blows my mind. So let's see here. Iranian officials react to Biden victory in U.S. presidential race. Again, a country that openly hates us to death. Iranian officials react to Biden victory in U.S. presidential race as politicians in Iran welcomed Trump's defeat. Some were skeptical about the prospects of improved relations. Of course, they always are. This is out of Tehran, Iran. Figures from across the Iranian political spectrum have reacted differently after Joe Biden was projected as the winner of the presidential election in the United States. Shortly after Biden's victory was reported by major U.S. media outlets, the English-language Twitter account of the Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, probably not even saying his name right, reposted a segment of a speech made last week in which he called the U.S. elections a spectacle. Yeah, so he pretty much, they go into what I had just read to you guys right off of his Twitter account, which I don't fucking understand how he even has one. President Hassan Rouhani, quoted by state media on Sunday, said Biden should make amends for President Donald Trump's policies towards Iran. He said the Biden victory is an opportunity for the next U.S. government to make up for past mistakes and return to the path of adhering to international commitments with respect to global rules. Oh, what? Kind of like how you guys don't let women fucking show their faces in public and they can't drive and get the shit beat out of them when they look at other people? Like, come on, man.
No, Tom. Remember, he wants his fucking nuclear bombs back? Like, that's what he wants?
Yeah, see, that's the biggest thing.
Literally?
Yeah, the Iranian deal. Yep.
That's
they literally want their nuclear bombs back.
Yeah.
Yep. He said, by resisting the imposed economic war of the U.S., the Iranian people have proven that U.S. maximum pressure campaign has been defeated. I'm getting frustrated even reading this.
He basically says you're going to go back to being a docile horse. We'll kick you while you're down. Go on.
Yeah, basically. That's pretty much what, yeah, they just, yeah, pretty much.
It's like being an old, senile man with a stick. Joe Biden.
That's one thing I did not agree with the Obama administration was I didn't personally think the Iranian nuclear deal made any sense. I don't know if it was I was trying to be too friendly. I don't know. Who knows? Minister of Foreign Affairs Mohammad Javad Zarif tweeted his hopes that the new administration would accept multilateralism, cooperation, and respect for law, and said in parting that Iran's record has been one of dignity, interest, and responsible diplomacy. Because you want your nukes back? The American people have spoken, and the world is watching whether the new leaders will abandon disastrous, lawless bullying of outgoing regime and accept multilateralism, cooperation, respect for law. Deeds matter most. Iran's record. Dignity, interest, and responsible diplomacy. And of course, if you go into, like, the comments from both his tweets and the supreme leader of Iran,
you can scroll back.
It's a cesspool of, like, guys that support terrorism. Like, Mike, some of the shit I saw in there blew my mind that they were okay with, Twitter's okay with them saying this. Like, there were guys literally calling for, like, jihad against us and shit. Like, it was insane. Mm-hmm. I probably shouldn't even use that word, but
they use it. How are we not allowed to? Come on.
Right. First Vice President Asak Jangari, or Jahanagiri, said the era of Trump and his adventurous and warmongering team has come to an end, and that Iran would not forget the maximum pressure campaign of economic sanctions and the assassination of top general Qasem Soleimani. Like, I can understand that one. We killed one of their generals. I'll give them that for being mad about that. He killed a lot of people, though. I hope we will witness a change. I'm just saying that, like, having a strong reaction to that type of thing on their part is to be expected. Just like if they killed one of our generals, we would literally be invading their country. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't do shit.
That's why they don't kill our generals. Just saying. Like, there's a reason they don't kill our generals, huh?
There's a reason nobody kills our generals, because we would invade. Which I'm not saying I'm not a fan of the way we do business militarily either. I could bring up a map of how we have other countries just surrounded by U.S. military bases, which, again, is imperialism. But
that's actually on NATO because they want us there. They don't want us. They want us in Syria, for fuck's sake. Like, they don't want us to pull out. Like, we fund most of, like, here, let's go, keep going.
Pulling out has always been a phrase that I've adhered to, but that's another story. Yep. I hope we will witness a change in the destructive policies of the U.S. and a return to law and international commitments and respect for nations, Jangari wrote in a tweet. Trump withdrew from a landmark 2015 nuclear deal between Tehran and world powers, which placed curbs on Iran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief, and unilaterally reimposed harsh sanctions on Iran. He also ordered the assassination of Soleimani in Iraq via a drone strike, for which Iran has promised a harsh revenge, which I will add myself has not happened. Ali Shamkhani, the Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, said the ending of Trump's presidency was a predestined verdict of history. And his tweet is in Arabic, and I cannot read Arabic. Translation: the end of Trump is not a surprise. It is the predestined verdict of history. Most people of America rejected the record of all the failure of thinking that bullying was the solution to problems. Does the elected government understand that under the white frame of his picture in the White House, instead of the words the 45th president, he should write a lesson for the future? Speaker of Parliament Mohammed Bagar Galibaf posted a verse from the Quran and a short video of part of a speech by Hassan Nasrallah, Secretary General of the Iran-backed Lebanese political party and armed group Hezbollah. Oh, great. Hezbollah. Man. In the video, Nasrallah predicted that Trump would lose the election and that he is losing the Middle East region. When the U.S. leaves our region, these Zionists will pack up and leave. We might not even have to fight a battle against Israel. Oh, Christ. These people over there, man. I mean, they're always like in a perpetual state of war with Israel.
Yeah, let's move on to NATO expenditures real quick, because there's some interesting trends I want you to like really focus in on.
I was gonna say, this just kind of goes on and on and on, but we get the point. Like, these guys don't like us; they never did. You know, it's just, I understand. But yeah, NATO expenditures, indeed. NATO spends a shitload of money.
So, looking at NATO graphs right here, we'll see that United States spent a lot of money into NATO as opposed to all the other countries, but then when US stopped spending into NATO, none of the other countries really took it to step up except Lithuania and Romania and Estonia. Why did everybody else stop spending on NATO when we need to be spending on defense for the world because it's so important, right? The U.S. was spending marginally more, and now we're not, and everybody else decided, oh, well, we're not going to spend either. Guess it's not that important, huh?
Right.
Just saying.
Right. I hope we're not boring any of you guys with this, but, like, again, these are things that very much affect the world at large. Yeah. That I hope, like, again, I hope we can, to a point, make it somewhat... I don't know what the right word is for this, but entertaining in a way where, like, again, you guys understand, because you guys like me. You like my content. You like what I say to you guys. You know, you find me entertaining, but these are things that I actually do have interest in and care about, because the world is a really volatile place. I live in it. You know, you live in it. Being more aware of what's going on around you geopolitically, meaning the rest of the world, it gives you a real perspective on how lucky some of you may actually have it. Being here, like, the United States isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but, like, I don't live in a country where bombs are dropping next door every day. I don't live in a country where I've had to move because the military decided to mow my house down with fucking tanks. You know, I mean, like, Mike, as bad as it is over here politically, like, we are fortunate, though. I do come back to that. I do remember, like, we are lucky to have that we have it the way we do.
Yeah,
in a way.
Like, okay, so think about it this way.
We got to keep it, you know, as wonderful as it should be.
What do you think about Bush? You think he was a Republican or a Democrat? Like, honestly, do you think he was in the Democratic pocket or the Republican pocket? Like, the decisions he made were off of Bush Sr., right? Like, to go to Iraq and invade the Middle East.
About Bush Sr.
Well, Bush Sr. to Bush Jr., because Bush Jr. was the one, he was like the keystone in, like, messing the whole world up with the way he handled 9/11. Like, everybody wants to reel on Trump for the way he handled COVID, but, like, we literally caused a war on every single front over in the Middle East because of the way Bush handled the terrorist attack. Well,
I will say that his father, neocon, I guess you could say neocon for George W. because he was a puppet.
Yeah, and then that went to,
he was a puppet.
It went to Obama, which was just dropping bomb after bomb after bomb on civilians, and nobody batted an eye. It was just like, oh, whatever, you know, screw the orphanages and hospitals. It doesn't really matter.
Strikes and shit. Yeah. Like, people don't understand. Like, now, at the same time, like, do you think that there were, like, when you're the president, that there are harsh decisions that have to be made?
Yeah, but starting wars is one that maybe we should be aware of, because can you name what wars Obama started?
Can I name a war that Obama started?
Wars. with an
Well,
S.
it does kind of feel like we may have caused some events to occur that may have led to some of the crap that went down in Syria. Again, though, the president only has so much power. So is it a matter of, oh yeah, Obama started that, or was it the military-industrial complex?
Los Angeles Times in 2017. I don't know if Los Angeles is in California, right? Very liberal media over there, you would say, right?
Of course.
He hoped to sow peace, instead led the nation into war. Like, he started wars. Has Trump started any wars? Tried to get us out of Syria, right? Like, that's the thing that I'm trying to look at. Everybody says, look at the president's actions. You're looking at it from a very
black and white point of view, which is sometimes, I'm not saying it's a bad thing even, I'm saying sometimes that maybe you should look at it from that kind of point of view, where it's like, you know, I understand there's a lot of moving parts with this kind of thing. You know, sometimes it's like really complicated. I do understand that, but ultimately, I'm not for war.
Right.
Ever.
I'm just
the
trying
only
to say
time where I'm like, yeah, it's like I have a very defensive posture as far as war, very self-defensive. The way we were leading up into World War II is the way that I feel about it, where it's like we got into World War II because we were attacked and the rest of the world needed our help to stop a madman from invading the Earth. You know, like he was taking over Europe. He was going to take over the planet. So, like, World War II is that one situation where I'm like, yeah, that kind of had to be done. I'm not saying I'm for the atomic bomb or anything, but, like, it was a situation in which we had to intervene. Now, though, you know, in the Middle East, it's kind of like, what purpose is there for us to be guarding the poppy fields and, oh, wait, we can make money off that, of course. What about the oil fields? Oh, wait, money. I mean, I think it all just really comes down to money. We're in a lot of debt. We're in a lot of debt as a country right now.
But
what
once
makes
again,
money? War.
Who
We're
put us in that
debt?
We were in less debt in Clinton, and then we went under the Republican
actually.
Bush.
We were in a surplus.
That's what I was trying to say here, is that, like, all of a sudden, you know, Democrat name only Bush gets put in, and we've been on a complete downward spiral since. America was great back in the 90s. So what do you
think about Bush?
I think he did 9/11.
He was more of a Democrat?
Yes, absolutely. I think he dismantled the Republican Party from the inside.
I guess that is one way to look at it.
I mean, why would the Republican Party become so weak after his presidency when he was the president during that time?
It's very hated now, and you know, I'm no Republican here, but like when I was much younger, Republicans, like, if we're gonna use stereotypes, for example, if I said I want you to impersonate a Republican to like a random person on the street, they're probably gonna put on a Southern accent and they're gonna talk like they're stupid. You know what I mean? It's like you're south of the Mason-Dixon, you're in the Bible Belt, you're in the Rust Belt. Like that's a Republican to a lot of people nowadays. Whereas before, it was merely based on like just policy. It wasn't like a character being played. You know, and again, I'm not a Republican, but you know, just being a Republican or a Democrat doesn't make you a bad person either. That's something that people really need to start getting more into the habit of, is they got to understand that being of a certain political persuasion doesn't make you a shitty person in this country. Like, especially when I'm specifically really referring to the two main parties here. If you're a Democrat, you're a Democrat. You're a Republican, you're a Republican. Like, that doesn't make you a bad person. But it seems like in the eyes of the opposite party, it does now. And it's causing so many fights.
My imitation of Republican right now is an old man failing to sell used cars. Like, he has a whole bunch of old ideas that he's been trying to push for years and years, but they never get through, and he's just trying so hard, and he's like, please buy my car. Like, I need this job. You know, like, I need this job.
I get it. So what do you think? So what needs to happen if that's something they truly believe? Like,
they need to start selling the cars. They're not selling cars right now. They're not even getting up out of the damn chairs. They're not even trying to fight. They're just sitting and rolling over. They're not putting out those car commercials. Their businesses are going under. Everything's ruining around them, and they're just like, whatever. The left set me up.
I feel like a lot of establishment Republicans like pretended to support Trump, but like low key they didn't really support Trump.
Because all they're supporting are their pensions, term limits. Term limits. That's the one thing that I feel like a lot of people on both sides of the equation can agree on. Why don't Democrats? Why don't Democrats propose term limits ever?
Ever.
I've never seen a Democrat impose, like, say they're going to impose term limits, but Trump did twice.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Like, and again, Trump didn't come up with that. Trump is not the one who fucking forged that idea.
But he's the only running president that said he was going to do it on that stage. That's the difference. The problem is that no other candidate even thought to say it. That's the problem.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. We need somebody that's going to hold people accountable.
We're hiring the guy who we're basically all looking at like, you don't deserve to be in that chair for 47 years. That's ridiculous.
That's how you feel about Biden.
I'm just saying that's how a lot of Americans feel about Biden. How has he been in that chair for 47 years and not really done much of anything except for make life harder for black people? That's really fucked. That's your only accomplishment, quote unquote.
Yeah, he, again, to be very unbiased and as fair as I can be here, I give everybody a chance when they get into the White House. We'll see what happens. I feel like there are politicians a lot of times that have bad policies when they're younger. They get a little older, and some of them look back on how they used to do things, and they say, you know what, the world's changing, I'm changing. People's opinions change. Let's say somebody used to support keeping marijuana illegal. New research suggests that marijuana could help, with treating cancer, the things that it does. New science. Somebody like that may change. They may change their mind. Because a lot of times I think people hold politicians.
They're taking a middle road on that. They said let the states go for it, and that's fine.
Right, and I think that's fine. If that's as good as we can get it, I'd rather them do that than say no. But what I'm saying is that sometimes people hold politicians up by the collar, like, hey, you were always against this. You can't just pretend to be for it now. It's like, well, no. It would be different if they did it, like, within a week. That's called flip-flopping. But when it's, like, 20 years later, people do have their feelings changed. Like, there are things in life that I used to think that I no longer agree with. There are things that you, I'm sure, feel the same way.
Feelings don't undo the feelings don't undo the 94 crime bill and the war on drugs. Feelings don't undo that.
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm sorry, you voted on the subjugation of African Americans and the further subjugation of African Americans by the war on drugs. Like, all of it is your fault. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so rough, and I don't feel that way anymore. So what are you going to do about it?
Do you think Biden is going to show, if
show any amnesty for it? You know what he said publicly?
Do you think his actions will be reflective of trying to make right those wrongs?
No. You know what he said? He said he's proud of the 94 crime bill and wouldn't change it for the world.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that, personally.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, is that nobody sees these things.
I'm not hating on Biden. This is not an attack on voters. Let me be very clear. You voted for Biden. I'm not attacking you. Because not everyone is fully informed on every candidate. I know there are people who voted on Trump just because they made him laugh. Like Trump was funny to them, so they voted for him. Because he was the outsider. He wasn't politically correct. They voted for him. I get it.
He's a Schwarzenegger of, politics and the White House level.
Right.
Governor of California type stuff.
I'm specifically referring to the man Biden himself, not necessarily the voters. Not at all.
Well, every
person that walks into the White House needs to be held accountable.
Voters have their right to not want Trump in office, and I can see that, but they don't see what their candidate that they have only been left with due to Bernie Sanders being crushed under the weight of Biden because they were pushing Biden. Biden didn't win that. Bernie had that in the bag. We all know it. That's the problem.
Would you have voted for Bernie?
110%.
I'm with you. I probably would.
I'm not big on socialism. I don't really like, you know.
Me neither, but he wasn't like completely socialist. Not all aspects of socialism are bad.
I get it, equity and all that, but like it's not that I don't like it. It's that the current situation doesn't work, and he's not a Democrat. That's the thing that people didn't understand, that he's not a Democrat, and I would have voted Democrat with him in a Democrat office because he's libertarian. He's not a Democrat. That's all there is to it.
Which is why, on the Republican side of things, for a while I liked Ron Paul. Ron Paul is a libertarian in Republican clothing. Like, Ron Paul wanted to audit the feds. Ron Paul said 9/11 was an inside job and that it needed a real investigation. Ron Paul knew there's shadowy shit going on in the government. Ron Paul cares about the country. Like, really cares. Ron Paul wouldn't have started wars. Yeah, and he was a Republican. That should tell you that I'm for the person, not the party. Again, it's about what that person brings to the table. But again, then I hit the point where I'm like, you know,
they crush moderates and libertarians.
Is this all a big show? I know they do, and is this like all a big show though? Where like everyone's just kind of in on it. I had made a video on my channel. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's Trump bashing Hillary, and he had Bill Clinton's female accusers at that press conference right before the debate, and then fast forward and it's a clip of Trump praising them.
Yeah.
For their service in government.
Right.
Like, that's my problem right there. They put on a show, and then like if you're in the same party, you're forced to like, you know, get behind your party's nomination. Like, if I don't like you and we're in the same party and we're both running for president and I'm shit talking you on that stage, exposing all your wrongs to the world, you're doing it to me too. You get the nomination, I have to get behind you because my party nominated you? Like, no. I feel like that's why I feel like politics are so fake. Is because, like, you know, it's like you'll be up there, like one guy will be up on the stage like, this individual is not fit for the office, and then that individual wins the nomination. This individual is fit for the office. Like a month later, like, come on. Like, I could literally just look up on YouTube, like, you know, politicians contradicting themselves. It's a game. It's a joke.
What is it?
The evidence is heavy. That's why I don't know if any of the things we've just been talking about with Biden and Trump, it's like, do they even matter? Like, or are they all on the same team? I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like maybe they're not on the same team at this point. But some of them are. But they pretend that they aren't.
Let me know when you get this video. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you this video. You play at the same time, and I'm just gonna like get your live reaction here. Let me send it to you on Facebook, so you can just pull it up in a video. Let me know when you hit the play button, and then I'm gonna play it on stream, so we get it all at the same time, because it's one of those quick one and done things.
Very nice. Okay, let's see here. I heard the little popping noise, which means you sent me something, and then we'll move on to the stuff that we have left in the the Discord server, because I feel like the guys in the chat would probably really get a kick out of some of the things that we have left, and I'm not even kidding when I say that. We have a lot there.
Let me know when you pull that up.
Sinclair's soldiers in Trump's war on media. Okay.
All right.
Interesting.
Let me know when.
1 second.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities.
Oh, this! I've been looking for this forever!
Extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the prevalent trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has
This is
become
terrible.
all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
Oh my goodness. That's from Deadspin too.
Platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely creepy.
To our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is the problem
Dangerous to
I
our
have.
democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our
If
democracy.
this isn't an indication that something's wrong with media, then I don't know what is.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Like,
This is extremely dangerous
they're all
to our
saying
democracy.
the same thing
Extremely dangerous
on
to
like
our democracy.
50 different news stations, probably more.
dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely 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 dangerous to our democracy.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
insane. Absolute insanity.
I thank you so much for sending me that, because I was actually thinking about that clip the other day and I just couldn't find it. Like, just could not find it anywhere. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Like, actually.
To me.
And the thing is,
Now,
we don't have a democracy. This is just extremely dangerous to our republic.
Republic, right. It is a republic. Now, I'm going to use one word here, or maybe it's, well, one phrase, really, depending on how you want to put it, but brainwashing. Is that not brainwashing? That same message sent out to all those news stations. It's propaganda.
It's propaganda.
Right?
Yeah. It's something that I think we've outlawed. Like, for use in wars and stuff, I'm pretty sure. Like, there's something in the Geneva Convention about that.
Is there something about propaganda?
I think
in
it's
the Geneva
propaganda
Convention?
against other countries, but we use it against their own people. It's like, how
it's different.
Yeah, no, it's totally different. It has nothing. It's not exactly the same in any way.
You will notice my donation, Cortex. You will notice my donation, Cortex. Your donation is not dangerous to my democracy, Emperor Palpatine. Thank you for the $1.99 you just sent me. I appreciate you, my friend. You guys in the chat are the best. But yeah, hopefully you guys are kind of like seeing where we're coming from here. Like, these are really weird times where you have social media, you have the internet. Information spreads very, very quickly. And when there's an agenda in play and somebody wants to get a message out, oh yeah, I'm sure he did. Probably funded that whole operation. Wouldn't surprise me.
Right.
When they want to push a narrative, when they want to, here, I'm going to make this very simple for you guys, just so I'll dumb down my language a little bit. I'm not saying you guys are stupid or anything, nothing like that. But I just want to put it in very, very plain English, just for anyone watching. When the people that control our country and have the most influence and the most power over everything want you to think something or want you to feel something so that they can get what they want, that's when you see stuff like what you just saw. That's that. And it really is just that simple. You know, what do advertisers do when they want to sell a product? Well, they put up billboards, they make commercials. It's the same concept. To pharmaceutical companies and
I want to know
big
who put that out.
We are
just.
that
That's not a billboard. That's not a billboard. That's synchronized local news. Like, everybody watches that in the morning. You're synchronizing the entire message without a name behind it. You're literally trying to say you're wrong as an American. That's literally coming out and telling you how wrong you are to think a certain way. That's not just that's not a billboard. That's not a political ad. That's like corrupting the minds of Americans with that kind of.
It reminds me of Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Nazi Germany, communist
the
China.
Yeah. You will think properly.
Communist China right now.
Obey. Like, Yeah, no.
Like I don't like it begins with, it's not with everything, but it begins with like the internet censorship. It's very communist style. Like, and China's not really even communist. I'm using that as like a loose term, but like very totalitarian, very Orwellian, 1984-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, it scares me, dude. Like, I liked what the internet was when I was a kid. Or even 10 years ago. I'd take 10 years ago over what we have now.
Well, here's the thing, though, right? On censorship, we're being censored heavily under a Republican president. What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this picture that any right-leaning ideas are being censored under a Republican president? What is wrong with that? What's wrong with that in general? Like, a lot of censorship has been coming up. What is wrong with that it's a leftist idea? Like a left-leaning, a left party, like, gets to say as they please.
First of all, it's imbalanced.
I'm trying to talk about on a fundamental level. Like, it is completely imbalanced, entirely. It's overbalanced in one direction is the issue.
Right. The scales are tipped.
And people wonder why there's outrage. But why is it that the outrage is coming from the side that has the power?
That's a good question. It's a great question, actually.
Like, these are the things that I think about. So like, we have riots in the streets. We have riots in the streets. We have people taking over portions of cities and murder and crime and death in those cities, in Portland, in Chaz, in Washington, Seattle, Washington, where Chaz was. There were deaths and murders, and nobody reported them.
Terrible things that I don't think any normal fucking person would want.
In like-minded people's like forts, like this fort of Chaz, whatever the heck it was called, the province, whatever they called it. Like,
yeah,
they were all
like-minded. Yeah, for those,
they all hated a specific thing.
For those that don't understand what that was, there was a section of was it Seattle or was it Portland?
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle. There, like, protesters took over like a few city blocks and basically claimed it as their own, gave it a name, and gave it its own mini government. That happened. Like, mainstream reported on that fairly extensively. Maybe not all the specifics and all of the things that were really going on inside of it, but people were aware of it. Yeah.
For an entire month.
Yeah, for one of the strangest things I've ever seen in my life. I gotta be honest with you. Like, as far as like protests and civil disobedience and things of that nature, I have never seen that.
Was that the correct way to hold a protest, in your eyes?
No.
Should the government have done something?
Yeah.
Why didn't they? Because the cities told them not to. The city let that happen.
Not to. Yep.
Democratic city. Yep. That's exact. Okay, so riots in Portland, Oregon.
It's good when you break it down because it's when people hear Trump say things about Democrat-controlled cities. Right, we're not talking about Trump. That's the best part, is that when people get the message from Trump, they don't take it seriously. And like people that are on the left or don't like Trump, when they hear the things that we're saying right now, they don't listen. But when you hear it from someone that isn't Trump, that doesn't support Trump, you listen.
In Portland, Oregon,
you see what I'm saying?
They wouldn't send the National Guard in to control the riots, right? They wouldn't send them in
because they were asked not to.
They weren't allowed to. They weren't allowed to. Guess what happened?
People got hurt.
No. Guess what actually happened? Biden got declared the winner, and they sent the National Guard in. They requested the National Guard to be sent in. Why did they wait so long?
That's bizarre. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the National Guard has been crushing people's faces into the pavement in Portland, Oregon by request. Yeah, because they're rioting.
So you're saying they answer to the left, is what you're saying?
They answer to whoever's above the left is the problem. Like,
they answer to whoever the left answers to, is what you're saying.
Yeah, right.
Dude, that's the thing, is that, like, I hate to even... I've always been a left-leaning person, technically.
Their ideas are great. Humanitarianism, rights for every kind of person, rights for, women, children,
and I'm for that.
elderly.
I really am. I don't think they're I don't think they're demonstrating those things properly right now.
They're taking the ideas and running with them. Yeah.
I'm not talking about. You got to understand too. When we say the left, we're not talking about voters. No, not talking about voters. We're talking about politicians, right?
And policies.
And I don't think anybody in this chat room right now on my live stream, or anybody that'll probably watch this that's like-minded, I don't think any of you are going to have a problem with me, criticizing politicians on either side of the board. I really don't think anyone's going to have an issue with that. See, the problem is that like politicians were supposed to exist to work for the people in our honor, for us. They're supposed to be working on our behalf. We are supposed to be the employers. We are the ones that vote them in.
Does Cory Booker represent you?
Cory Booker, I mean, listen, man. What I'll say about Cory Booker, I don't really know, but I don't know enough about Cory Booker to really give an answer on that one, to be honest with you.
Why don't you know anything about your own representative of your state?
I'll tell you why. Well, it's my own issue.
I don't think it's your issue. I think it's information suppression. I can
tell you that my dad met Cory Booker, and that Cory Booker almost presided over my cousin's wedding. I can tell you that.
I don't care who Cory Booker ate a sandwich with. I want to know what he does. What does he do?
Right. No, I'll just say it's like I know he's a senator, and I know that he's very. Oh yeah, no, that's just like a factoid. But like, he, as far as I know, again, is just very establishment Democrat. He's brash, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't really know what his like specific policies are, his beliefs, but like, I think it's because I usually focus higher up. I don't usually focus I don't focus as much on local and state government as I do national and countrywide. That's of my own doing.
He was just recently grilling Amy Coney Barrett, trying to get her to basically talk about. He was trying to get her to talk about a case that hasn't even happened yet. He was basically trying to abuse the powers of the Supreme Court.
UNSC. Yeah. See, like, right. Yeah. I know a clip you're talking about. See, that's the thing. I'm not like 100% fond of Amy either.
Yeah, but at least she's doing her job. She's not supposed to talk about that kind of thing. He's
right. Oh yeah. No.
Opinion.
Facts are facts. Facts are facts. Like, I don't personally like her association with that rather extreme religious group that they. Oh,
what is she, part of the Westboro Baptist Church or something?
So, like, no, you could call it a cult. I forget the name of it, but like, it's like some handmaiden thing. You know that show, The Handmaid's Tale? Do you know where I'm going with this? So the group that she was associated with.
She looks like she's an Amish person in a suit.
Honestly. Right. So like, I know where you're coming from, and that's not meant to be insulting. It's just, personality, certain things, values and such. She has an association, right? Very, very homegrown, very bluegrass. So like, she has an association with this religious group that I don't particularly align with their beliefs. Obviously, I don't necessarily like the way that they treat women so much. And it comes off like a cult, and it was the inspiration for the book, The Handmaid's Tale, which, as we know, is now a show. So there is a concern that she will bring a set of ideas. They're very, religiously motivated, and that women's rights are going to get stomped on. And, but again, I tell people, I'm like, I wouldn't worry too much because she's one justice. There's other justices to balance out the equation.
There are other justices, but it is a Republican majority, unfortunately, and that's the problem. And Biden has already said he will pack the courts. He will undermine our justice system. I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
What does that really mean to pack? No, but no, they've asked him that question a million times, and he always says, like, he always dodges the question.
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't
he dodges
say he will pack the courts.
He very clearly dodges the question, which means he will.
So packing the courts is when you take the number from 9 Supreme Justices and just inflate that by a lot, so you can get your side to win. It's basically like turning the Supreme Court into the Senate, like in terms of numbers. Like you could put
So
like
we're adding
11,
justices.
12, like adding justices because I don't like that my side isn't represented enough. I'm going to add more seats, and we're just going to pack the courts until
See,
I win.
I always said, why don't we do 5 and 5? If we're working within the two-party system, which I don't agree with, but if it has to work within that system, do 5 and 5.
Yeah, that's true.
5 Republicans, 5 Democrats. I don't think there should be a majority.
There is an issue with that being that there will be a majority if it's 5 and 5. Because if there is a split,
because there'd be a split.
Yeah. The split would be handled by vice president, and so it would always go Democrat in a split
maybe
vote. In this case, in this presidency,
the split should be treated kind of like a referendum where it gets put on a ballot for voters. You have like an emergency vote.
You're asking Americans to vote on something? How dare you? How dare you ask for Americans to vote?
What asshole am I for that? Why would I ever do such a thing?
Fucking,
why would I ever do that?
I can't believe you want Americans to vote on something. That's so disgusting.
But see, that's also opening us up to a situation where fraud.
Yeah.
To put it very plainly. Oh Christ! All
fraud
right,
that
man.
Nobody wants to do anything about. It's off the table. We don't talk about it. Fraud never happened. Not all of it was a thing. It never happened. We were having tea.
Turn your head. Don't look at me when I take my clothes off. The Emperor's clothes are off. Oh man, dude, what happened to our country? On some real shit.
Said, it's been going downhill since.
Let's go into basic speak for a second. Like let's treat this like I'm in your room. It's me, you,
Florida
Nate,
happened.
Kyle, Shane, your
Florida
sister.
Happened. It was Florida.
What the fuck,
bro? Pass the blunt. What the fuck?
Anybody got any blues? Like, god damn it!
Geez.
Like,
play that one song, bro. The one song that's super sad. So what is it? The Sound of Silence. Let's go.
It's ground control to Major Tom. Like, it's gotten to the point where like I'm almost embarrassed to like be like, yeah, I'm from America. He's like, oh, you're from America. It sucks for you. You know, like politically speaking.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm always going to be proud of my heritage here and everything. But I think about how things are functioning in other countries sometimes, where it's like, you look at like the Netherlands, Greenland and stuff, where like. And some of them are a little socialist too.
Smaller populations, it's
smaller
probably
population,
more
but they're
sustainable.
functioning pretty well.
Yeah, but they're not a divided people. We're divided people.
How do we unite?
How was the question?
How do we?
When was the last time we united? When?
9/11.
Haha, war, terror, all this, a common enemy, rah, rah, rah. Nothing's going to unite us.
I guess that's where the fake
war.
Project Bluebeam alien invasion comes in? Is that what's next? Is that how they unite us? Is that the plan? Was that all along? Conspiracy theory?
I think Hillary Clinton had the right idea. We just got to go to war with Russia.
What, and end the planet? Yeah, good idea.
Well, that was
That'll
the
get
idea,
rid of all
right?
the problems because there won't be anything left to have a problem about. Yeah,
that was why she lost. People were terrified. They were like, "Holy shit!" She called Putin out. Nah, I'm not doing it.
Because sometimes I just want to like stare like a Republican in the eye, or someone that I don't agree with, and be like, "Listen, man, I don't hate you. You live your life a certain way as long as you're not hurting anybody, man. Do your thing." Let's go throw a baseball. Let's go have a drink. Let's go talk about sports. Let's go watch TV. Let's play some music together. You know what I mean? Like just be people. Like what happened to that?
Excuse me, Tom. A baseball killed my grandmother. I'm very offended. Your patriarchal sport segue? How dare you?
Patriarchal sports segue? Oh my god, sports are of the devil! Oh man. I just wish, again, I think 9/11, I think that was such a quick, snappy answer I gave. I'm proud of myself for that one. 9/11 was the one time in my life I can remember where I was in 6th grade, but I can clearly remember everybody was flying American flags. The national anthem meant something. You got emotional when you heard it. Even as a child, it had like a vibration to it. I mean, the national anthem still means something to me, but
But then we took God out of it, and we had to have a whole thing about that.
Like, I'm sure the adults were a little bit more split than us younger kids, but like there was still politics going on. But the average American on the street just cared about people getting hurt and just wanted the people in New York and Pennsylvania and Washington to be okay. Like, that's like, there was a lot of good stuff that happened in sports too. Like the Red Sox played the Yankees, big rivalry, maybe the most famous in all of sports. And the Yankees, I think, were in Boston, and all the guys, like all the Boston fans in the crowd, were holding up signs like "We love you, New York. We stand with you, New York." You know, stuff like that. And it was just nice. It was like a nice thing to see. It was just like, you know, because in sports, rivalries get a little dirty sometimes. Fans sometimes get into fist fights. It's outrageous. As a sports fan myself, a very big sports fan, I can tell you that I would never act that way personally. But that's what was going on back then, is like, you know, the Yankees would go play a team that their rivals with, and then they would, that team, the opposite team in the city that's supposed to be booing at them, we're giving them like a standing ovation and saying, hey man, it's going to be okay because we're all Americans. This is just a sport. This is just a game. But we, you know, I think we got to kind of like, everyone keeps forgetting. Like, as much as we talk about the ins and outs of this, you know, oh, is Biden going to pass laws that are going to suck? If Trump gets back in, is there going to be chaos? Like, all that crap, like, ultimately, we hold the power.
I'm worried about what wars are going to start.
I worry about that too.
But they always happen
ultimately,
in the middle of the
we
night.
hold the power as the population to just be like, hey, you know what? You politicians are fucking up, but we're not going to allow ourselves to get out of control, and we're going to stand shoulder to shoulder and be like, no, you cut it out. You work for us enough. Like, that's the thing, though, in the modern day, Mike, with technology and nuclear weapons and mutually assured destruction, I cannot see currently a scenario where a mass-scale war starts anymore.
What if Kim Jong-un was like, you fired my friend, and everybody, like, you stole this from my friend? He just starts launching ICBMs at us. Like it could happen tomorrow, you know? Like, Kim Jong-un could just lose his shit one day, you know? Like,
could. I think Trump was a little too light on him, man, personally.
I mean, it says a lot for South Korea.
And I'll be honest. I think the only reason Trump was even allowed over there to even meet with Kim wasn't because Trump was some great debonair where he was like able to talk him into it or some shit. I think it's because North Korea looked at him as a joke. I have to be honest with you. I think North Korea was like, look at this fat idiot. Like, I really think that. I really think that they almost did it like, oh, dude, this is going to be so easy to get over on this guy. Like, why don't we just invite him over here? How funny would that be? Kind of like, who are the only two famous Americans allowed in North Korea? Donald Trump and Dennis Rodman. Like, come on.
Right.
And listen, I'm not hating on Rodman, but I mean, come on. My friend Kim Jong-un. Like, come on, dude.
You see that interview he did?
Oh.
Where he's like literally fucking breaking down in tears?
My friend Kim. My friend Kim. I do a good Dennis Rodman. My friend, I play for the Chicago Bulls, and my friend Kim used to watch me back in the 90s. I was the greatest rebounder in the history of the league. Like, he always sounds so fucking wasted, dude. That's so funny. Love Dennis Rodman, man. I'm not hating on Dennis. I'm just doing an imperation. I love Dennis Rodman. If he ever watches this stream, Dennis Rodman, I love you, man.
His blood is purple.
Love you, Dennis Rodman. He's right. Like, I mean, this is a guy that married Carmen Electra, and he was the one wearing the wedding dress. Like, what a savage, bro! What a savage! Like, come on, he's a savage for that. He was a good athlete, though. I won't lie. He's just he's a party animal, you know. And he's an interesting character. I don't think he's like a piece of shit or anything. Nothing like that. No. Yeah, I think he needs to maybe hold off on the booze every now and then. He got a little drunk when he was over in North Korea, and they were kind of looking at him like, "Goddamn, dude, relax. You're going a little heavy on the sake or what, you know." Like, but I think it was sake that he may have been drinking, or an equivalent in North Korea. I think isn't sake like kind of popular in most Asian countries? I'm not really sure about that one, or is that really just Japan? Let's find that one out, because I know they drink something similar. I remember seeing it in a North Korea documentary, like all about their lifestyle, their culture. North Korea is actually a really interesting, kind of a pretty place. It's kind of cool, some of it. Like, I know it's a shitty government and there's oppression and everything, but like the scenery, they like liquor.
So, as consequence, North Korea beer is still little known. Nevertheless, beer and soju are two most common alcoholic drinks in the country.
That's it, soju. Yeah. Soju, that's what I was looking for. So I said sake. I really meant to say soju. Yep. Very interesting.
94% of all alcohol in pure alcohol being liquor. 51% being beer. Or 5.1% being beer. So mostly
I've
liquor.
had sake before. I didn't really like it. It's kind of a strange taste, to be honest with
you. Yeah.
Veggies.
Probably an acquired taste.
What's happening to my brother? So what do you think? Do you think maybe why don't we hit the rest of what we have in the Discord? I think that's a good segue. I think we've pounded politics into their heads for long enough.
Aliens with horns on their heads.
Aliens with horns on their heads. This is a strange one. I remember this story as a kid. I remember them bringing it up on something on like the old version of the old good sci-fi channel, the original sci-fi channel. I'm going to bring up the article for myself here so I can read it to you guys. I'll never be able to zoom in on it.
I got it. You read the article, I'll just leave it with the picture of the creepy alien.
Yeah, that's totally cool. All right, let's see what we got here.
That's wild.
What's really nuts about this is that the police were involved. This is from the High Strangeness Reddit, which is really a place for high strangeness. Really, really, really wild stuff on here. Some great stories, things that'll keep you up at night, that type of stuff. 2 aliens with horns on their heads were seen in Brazil in 1996, killed by police. 1996, some very strange UFO phenomenon took place in Varginha, a city in Brazil, where many locals claim to have seen 2 aliens captured by the Brazilian military. On January 20th, 1996, which would mean I was 7 years old at the time, North American Air Defense Command, or NORAD, transmitted accurate radar data on a flying object south of Minas Gerais to its colleagues at the Sindacta Aerial Surveillance Center in Brazil. So they actually had radar data on this. Holy shit! I didn't even know that part. Local residents informed the police that strange creatures were walking in the park. They saw 2 aliens with large heads and huge red eyes. Their skin was dark, and they were as tall as 10-year-old children. It's funny how the aliens, a lot of times are like really short, or like they're really tall. Like the mantis creatures, the greys are usually considered short. The ones that crashed at Roswell were described. They were nicknamed the kids by the military that cleaned up the crash site in Roswell in 1947. Right. I talk about it like it's true because it is true. It's kind of obvious, in my opinion, that a flying saucer really crashed in Roswell and there really were alien bodies. So I apologize if you take a different stance, but I really do believe it happened. And I always heard they nicknamed them the kids because they were about, under 5 foot. They were 4'1.5", 4'8" in stature, I believe. Ufologist Roger Lear was the first to reveal the bizarre details of the case. I know who that is. He visited Varginha shortly after the incident. Then he published the book, UFO Crash in Brazil. I remember seeing that book on Amazon before. When the police arrived, they immediately opened fire on the aliens, and one of them got injured. Then the injured alien was taken to the local hospital about 1.5 kilometers from Varginha. According to the hospital staff, an entire wing of the hospital was closed, and the hospital itself was literally packed with military personnel and full ammunition. Doctors tried to save the creature, but it died. Its death was recorded on January 22nd, 1996. More than a dozen specialists, including genetics, or I guess what they meant to say here is geneticists, took part in the subsequent autopsy. They found out that the alien had a black tongue, the absence of genitals, and a navel. After the autopsy, the dead alien was placed in a wooden coffin, the lid of which was secured with screws. Among the eyewitnesses who personally saw these creatures were 2 14-year-old twin girls, Lelaine and Valkyria Fatima Silva, and a 22-year-old named Kadia Andrade Xavier. They saw one of the creatures, and according to them, it was very thin with brown skin, big red eyes, and 3 horns on its head, about 160 centimeters in height, and its feet were in a V shape. The creature was barely moving, so the girls assumed that it was wounded. Then they ran home and told their mother that they had seen the devil. Their mother did not believe them, but when she went to the place where the creature had been, she felt a strong ammonia smell there. The creature was no longer there, but the unusual smell remained, and the dogs behaved strangely. After the sisters and Kadia told their friends and family members about the strange creature, rumors quickly spread throughout the city. 2 days later, a similar creature was seen dead on the side of the road. However, no one had time to see it, except for one eyewitness, since 3 army trucks arrived at that place and took the creature. It remained unclear whether it was a third creature or one of the 2 that had been seen first. Or maybe there were 4 of them in general, and the 4th was the one whom the sisters and Kadia saw. For the next several days, the locals continued to encounter strange creatures. One of them was allegedly seen at the zoo. The janitor working there told a story about it, and 3 animals in the zoo soon died under strange circumstances. Meanwhile, on the same day at about 1:30 a.m., farm owners... Boy, these names, man. They have like the toughest names to pronounce, like on the fly. Oralina and Eurico de Freitas woke up because their cows and sheep were showing intense anxiety. The couple reportedly saw a UFO hovering over their cattle for 40 minutes. The mysterious flying object vibrated violently amid clouds of mist and eventually hit the ground. 26 days after the incident, one of the police officers who opened fire on the aliens died for some unknown reason. The reason for his death was mentioned as some kind of infection. Of course, this could, if this really did happen, he could have been exposed to some alien bacteria that maybe that ended up becoming a killer virus on this planet. We don't know, who knows, man? You never know with that kind of thing. That's why contact with extraterrestrials in general has dangers to it, that being one. Officially, the Brazilian authorities said that the Silva sisters had seen a sick homeless person and the military had been simply practicing on schedule. When asked what kind of strange creatures were with the military in the hospital, the answer was that they had been dwarf people, but the locals certainly did not believe that. And to end the story, neither do I. That's an interesting one. Again, like over in countries like Mexico, Brazil, Ecuador, Venezuela, Peru, there's these stories of these aliens, man. Like they're like major alien hotspots, major hubs of activity. With chupacabra and other creatures that have been described as being witnessed in those areas. I mean, I remember as far back as the mid-90s hearing about this one story where the chupacabra, which is, I believe it's Spanish for goat sucker, pretty sure. I know it's goat sucker, but I think it's Spanish. Like, they were seeing this creature, like, really often. And police officers saw it dozens of witnesses, like for each incident. There were plenty of people to see it. Hey,
Spanish
Veggies, I'm doing good, man.
Chupar,
doing my
suck,
thing, man.
And cabra is goat. To suck the goat. Goat sucker.
Yeah, to suck the goat. That's right, goat sucker. Because they would attack livestock. That's where they're getting the nickname from, is that they were like committing cattle mutilations that were being blamed on flying saucers. These were the creatures that were responsible for some of those incidents, according to the people who saw it. I mean...
Well, you think about it, these are like considered to be urban legends, but also demons. Like what that devil thing looks like is what we consider to be demons, right? Like in sentient form and in physical form.
This is what I always thought was a fascinating concept, was that like maybe these stories from medieval times about, the succubi and the jinn, creatures that were spoken about in mythology. Could they have just been extraterrestrials visiting Earth that crossed paths with humans one day, and then a myth formed, and the legend gets passed down through generations, and that's where you get these stories from. Like this one I always thought was wild. Like dragons, they said, what if dragons were actually spaceships? And you're like, well, wait, how does that work? Think about it. Dragons fly through the sky, they're long, and they spit fire. What else flies through the sky, is kind of long, and spits fire? A rocket. I know it's a little bit of a reach. But, it's one of those things. Hey, Moon, I appreciate you being here, man. Hopefully you'll be able to be here for tomorrow's stream. We're just going to be doing some, either Apex or Battlefront, Grand Theft Auto, the usual. So thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Good night, bro.
Yeah, you too, man. But, yeah, one of those weird things where it's like, This goes into an area of study known as cryptozoology, which is just like the study of animals that are outside of the explanation of normal science, aren't necessarily in the books, as they say. Creatures like Yeti are also better known as Bigfoot, Sasquatch, unicorns, things of that sort. See, Mike, I have a really interesting opinion, I think, on unicorns. I think they probably existed. Not that they were magical creatures, but that again, this was maybe a horse that just had a horn on its head, and that the reason we don't find remains of skeletal remains, ancient remains, fossilized remains of horses that feature that horn on the head is because maybe it was composed of a material that maybe when it would calcify over time, it would break down, it disappears, it doesn't last with the rest of the body.
You see remnants in the structuring of the skull, though, where it would like nest the horn.
I mean, you would think, like there would be like an indentation, or maybe it was an extension that would break off. Who knows? I actually know someone personally. No names, obviously. They swear that mermaids exist. Like, they swear.
I believe it.
And again, well, do you know what I think some of these things are? Like, maybe they're what you would call a chimera, where it's, I think beings came down to this planet and they were doing genetic experiments on all the creatures here, or maybe they were populating the Earth with their own experiments. Maybe there were no animals or plant life here. Maybe they seeded it here. This is one big zoo for them. That's the zoo theory. Or just one big, geological and biological experiment of some kind where they wanted to, they're basically playing like a cosmic version of The Sims. Where they're basically doing whatever they want, creating all kinds of creatures. Because you go back into, ancient Egyptian mythology and other ancient cultures, and you have these creatures that have, you got somebody walking around with a cat head. You got minotaurs, things of that sort. I know it's, to some people it's like, well, that's kind of nuts to say that could have even existed. Like, well, is it? Because I'm pretty sure science is going to hit a point where they could make that kind of creature.
What I'm saying is that three-horned alien, probably in contact with things that we understand to be demons, right? In the astral sense, because who can deny that existence that has an understanding of the astral at all, right? So the three-horned alien.
I've been there.
Exactly. So the three-horned alien, very let's say high echelon and possibly even primitive thought, but it looks like it was taking the form of a negative energy, metamorphosizing, if you would, and that just seems to be what we're getting at here with the extraterrestrials. So what's to say?
Be a conscious manifestation of our fears,
a chimera consciousization, It literally, it's not just our fears, it's that it's physically manifesting through not fears, but what it sees to be the correct path in the cosmos, say.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So it's decided for itself, right? Or maybe it's just structured to equate, positivity with what we consider to be negativity, like scales and balances.
Well, do you believe, this is a really heavy question, but I think it's a fascinating topic. Do you believe that good and evil are actual forces of nature? You got gravity, electromagnetism, things of that sort. Do you think good and evil are forces?
Defined good and evil as light and darkness in the universe, I would say karma is a force. Not good and evil specifically, but the karma balance between the two. Say one good deed is done, and say, let's go to religion real quick. Christ comes along and he absolves all of our sins. Well, the karmatic balance would infer that a heavy darkness would envelop the entire world because of that action. It wouldn't be that he absolves all of our sins, it's that the universe will reprimand that action. It's not that it's between Christ and God, it's that the universe is above that God because that God is also a manifestation. See, maybe to more of the, I guess it's the what is it? The Jehovah's Witness as to Yahweh is the God of our planet, I suppose, and God above that would be the universe. We answer to
you
Yahweh.
just made me think of something too. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like.
Go ahead. You know, that's what I'm just getting.
There's a video. You said Yahweh. You said Yahweh.
Yeah.
And I think there's. All right, listen. We're gonna keep babbling on here for a minute while I find this clip. There's a guy. I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's a guy who referred to himself as Prophet Yahweh, and he had a news crew come out and interview him about this, and then something really odd went down. He claimed that he could pray and make UFOs appear.
Sounds like something I would do.
But now, why would I? Now, if this was just garbage, why am I bringing it up on this show?
Because it's not. Because you know damn well I could probably prove or disprove that theory.
Watch this. Aha! Man summons UFO. There it is. Listen, man, I don't care if we get a copyright or whatever. Like, we have to show this clip. We have to. Like, we so very much have to. You guys in the chat. Oh, hi. My cousin's cat has just joined us. This is Finn. You're not going to hear him talking because he's a cat. But you may hear him, doing some mowing. Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. He's currently rubbing against everything, including me, and that's the blanket I'm going to be sleeping in, and I'm highly allergic to you. All right, this is why I wake up and can't breathe through my nose, but no big deal. So, okay, here, let me drop this link. This video clip is just, there's a backstory too. Somebody actually did a good extensive video on this on their YouTube channel, and I'm hoping that I can find that clip too and share it with you guys one day, but I'll tell you myself because I don't want to steal that individual's material. But Mike, go ahead, and whenever you can, roll the clip.
We know when, so we can watch it together at this point.
Right now. We're good to go.
A possible motive in the brutal killing is tied to a Las Vegas strip club.
He's a Las Vegas man who claims he can summon UFOs on command. Pretty wild. So we sent Action News reporter Mike Dell'Estrito to get the real story. But what he found shocked everyone and could leave you wondering, are UFOs real?
The battle of the bulge.
And forget the short-term fixes and diets that don't work. Kathy Ray has a plan for every lifestyle to help you win the battle of the bulge.
Breaking news, solving problems. This is Channel 13 Action News, live at 11.
Well, let's take another trip back into the realm of paranormal tonight. Last night we had ghost hunters, now UFOs.
That's right, and there is a Las Vegas guy making an extraordinary claim about extraterrestrials. So we sent Action News reporter Mike Dell'Estrito to check it out. Mike?
All right, guys, just listen up here. This guy says the Old Testament, written in Hebrew, taught him how to summon UFOs. All right, he says he can also do this on command, and he adds he's been doing it for 25 years, keeping all of it secret until now.
These beings are here. They're here. They're just sitting right up there.
We met up with Prophet Yahweh.
Man died later of strange causes.
We picked the day, we picked the time, and we picked the location.
Everyone's gonna think you're absolutely nuts.
Well, I thought I was absolutely nuts.
Until he says he saw UFOs. Over the years, 1,500 of them.
Can we make it 1,501 today? What do you think?
I'll try it.
He says the voice in his head told him to go public now, so we took him up on his offer, and we scanned the skies. Nothing but a few clouds. When the prophet started praying for a sighting, I wasn't exactly convinced.
I pray, oh Yahweh, that you send a sighting so that they know that I am not mentally ill. I am not a false prophet, like those who seek to kill me say I am.
I see something straight up.
Oh!
There's those orbs again.
You can barely see it, a white speck. Then another sighting.
There it is. I got it.
Photojournalist Jonathan Hawkins locks in on it. Let's take a closer look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere. I call the boss with an unexpected change in my story.
I could see it.
He could do it. It's aliens.
it's moving pretty fast.
It's going to Nellis Air Force Base.
Of course it is.
We called Wallace to see what these things might be. Guess what? They didn't call us back. But this thing started coming back toward us. It's coming toward us now, I think.
What?
See, it's coming up toward us.
Whoa, man!
Light the sentence up.
Then, a few seconds later, it disappeared.
It's going back up in space.
Prophet Yahweh isn't concerned. He says it'll be back.
Mike, have you ever seen this clip?
No, that's crazy.
And I'm still
nuts, right?
With those things.
That's insane.
How? Like, I knew it. Like,
what?
I'm so glad you said Yahweh, because I was like, oh yeah, because I wanted to do like a YouTube video on this, but I mean, I guess this kind of serves the purpose. I know some of this stuff were kind of I know we had like a whole list of things in the Discord the Discord server that we laid out for the show specifically, but nothing wrong with some stuff that's impromptu and off the cuff that we remember off the top of our heads, of course. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that one?
That's wild, yo. Like when I'm looking at this guy, the way he spoke, I feel like this guy had the same thing that happened to me. He had like some kind of like something happened in his brain that just like opened up pathways or some shit, and like he can summon UFOs. Like I've spoken to the stars type shit. Like stars will speak back. Given there were some things involved, but like it's literally exactly what you're seeing there is that they rotate and they flicker like those orbs or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they do.
And it's in resonance to your emotion. It's telepathic. It's it's a give and take. It's wild.
Yeah, I know you've had some extremely weird metaphysical experiences that I'm sure we could probably dedicate an entire episode to just you. Like, in all honesty, you have told me some stories over the years where I'm just like, dude, there were times, I won't lie, where I'm like, Mike, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I wish when you were around,
not even to be insulting, but like,
I wish when you were around, fucking
really
right
tough.
across the hall there, that you were a little more accepting of those stories, because given I was a bit like on edge, I was not fucking around. Like I was absolutely dead serious.
You can see where I'm at now.
Much different.
I'm pretty open, because my beliefs have shifted more to like, I'm not a religious person, but I've become in a way a spiritual person where I do believe that consciousness has some sort of power.
Well, I had a feeling that eventually it would come like in time with you, because you were always.
Well, I was
into
always
this,
looking into it, but I always thought it was a result, like what you were going through was a result of, the things that you were, diagnosed with. But
basically what you're trying to say is the result of hallucinations rather than actual experiences.
Correct.
And I can see that,
right.
and I can understand that, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Now, like, you're trying to like see and understand that maybe it wasn't.
I have a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
Now I have the perspective of like, are those conditions actually something different? Are those conditions actually allowing you to see see through a window of perception into another dimension, another universe that we don't understand?
Like, remember what I was like? I was you guys were walking through the room and I was seeing your fucking horrors, bro. Like, I was seeing it, dude. Like,
all right, hey,
physically.
Sci-Fi, I didn't even know you were here, man. Appreciate you being here, bro. You take care, man. Yeah, that's it's interesting. Some of the stuff you told me was pretty extraordinary, but like now, like you are even much different now than you were.
Right.
So it's kind of like,
but I can recount all.
Now
those
I'm really
instances.
Hearing it, and I'm like, dude.
Well, when I was telling you, I was in a panic. Like, I was like, dude, you're not seeing this? Like, like somebody help type shit. Right. Like, I'm not used to this type shit. Like, it was a different situation than, and it sucks when you're in that situation. Nobody understands though. And
like, did you see a lot of stuff in your mind's eye and it was uncontrollable, or were there things that you like you could describe as seeing with your eyes?
Like both, literally, physically and non. Like, I would turn around and remember shadow people. Like, they were physically there. It wasn't a mind's eye thing.
On that.
Bro, the woods. I tell you, dude, there were 3 of them stalking me on the way home, walking through those woods, dude. I would look back and there'd be 3 of them, and they would duck behind trees.
It's
crazy,
right, look, I'll tell you
dude.
something I don't even like talking about very
They're
briefly.
like 7 feet tall and lanky, dude. Weird.
Okay. Yeah. See, right there, like that. Like so, I back, and you know, man, and this could have very well been a result of things that I was doing when I had drug problems, but I wasn't taking hallucinogens when these incidents occurred. I experienced what's known as sleep paralysis a few times.
I've had that one time my whole life, and it happened in Florida.
Every time, it's scary. Like,
yeah, no,
I'm not kidding when I say, I can't even talk to my cousin about it. I hope she didn't even hear me say that, because like it freaks her up really badly. You know, imagine waking up, kind of like you're half awake, you cannot move, and you're trying real hard to move, but you just can't. And every time it would happen to me, I'm not saying I saw shadow people, but I felt a presence, and it was really weird. And there was a couple times specifically where, like, during the incident, I would be going through the sleep paralysis, like I'm looking around, my eyes are like the only thing that can move, and like I would see myself like getting like dragged out of bed by like an invisible force, or like pushed up against the wall, blah 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 blah. And like when I would wake up, I would be back in the same position that I fell asleep in, but I don't know. Hey man, listen, it could have just been a really like shitty dream mixed with sleep paralysis. I'm not even saying it was anything paranormal. But what I am saying is that it was not a pleasant experience.
Well,
like,
you're awake and seeing yourself
that.
pulled out of your bed, you know, right? Like you're seeing this with your mind's eye, right?
No.
No, like how were you seeing this?
So
like you said you were awake,
like
so sleep paralysis being that you're awake, right?
Like my so like, all right. The only way I could describe it is like, imagine falling asleep, and then like it's almost like my mind's eyes opened as opposed to my actual eyes, but that's all I'm seeing. But it didn't feel like I had my eyes closed.
Right. No, I understand that. That's how. That's
no.
I see.
Like I would actually fall asleep. Like so, I'd be in bed. I would fall asleep, like really fall asleep, and then it would feel as though I had woken up into a really hazy state, like a very dreamlike state. But again, every time it would happen, I wasn't seeing, like, you know how sometimes you have a dream and you feel like you're in your room in the dream, but your room is like not your room.
Yeah, it's like walls are rearranged.
It was my room.
Wrong places.
Like, right, yes, correct. Like it was my room to the T. It was almost like I went to sleep and then woke up in a very foggy, strange version of my room. But everything's in the right place. Like it didn't feel like it was separate from a dream. It wasn't like a dream because it had a feeling to it. And a lot of times it would feel like I was slowly falling backwards, but I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't move my arms, nothing. But I could look around. And every time it would happen, I would feel a presence. Now, what's interesting to note about this is that in a lot of religious practices and faiths, beliefs and such, they say that like when you are a drug addict or you're doing things like that are not good, you're inviting evil energy into your life, evil spirits, as they call it, just for lack of better terms. You're inviting in things that you don't want in the metaphysical sense. And what's really interesting is that those things, the sleep paralysis and all that, the only time I ever experienced any of that crap was when I was a drug addict. And people, but like, see, people give the simple answer of, oh, well, I can easily explain this, bro. You were on drugs. Like, no, you don't understand. They were even happening on nights when I wasn't doing drugs. Like, I wouldn't even be hot. Right, it was its own thing. I'm telling you, I do not believe it was a direct result. Because, like, the funny thing is, it never happened while I was under the influence. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it would happen, like, literally when I was just not on anything. Like that's what was going on in my life at the time. But I wasn't, it's not like, oh, I'd go, you know, do Percocet or whatever the fuck it was, and then I just decided to fall asleep, and then, bam, I'm in sleep paralysis. Like, no. It wasn't while I was actively under the influence. That's why I always thought about it. I'm like, dude, was this like that evil energy, bad spirits, like not so good juju that those people were talking about? Really weird, man. Really weird to consider. Really just like, I don't know. You know, maybe because of, I'm not, you know, I'm saying it's very likely that it had something to do with all the bad shit I was putting into my body. It's very, you know, I mean, the more likely explanation. But it just had this feeling to it that I don't really know how to explain, that like it was something not good, but it wasn't earthly. That's all I can say. I mean, really, I could be very wrong. It may give you that feeling because that's just what the brain does. I don't know. But there was just something really, really off about it and something really weird to it.
Yeah. I don't think
to this day, I don't understand it.
Playing it down or anything. I'm just I have things to say, but honestly, not stream appropriate, to be completely fair. Like I can probably help partially explain those things, but a longer discussion.
Totally fine. Well, it's getting late here, so I think we should hit the last thing that I wanted to hit, at least in this, and that would be from the High Strangeness Reddit. Declassified FBI report describes ethereal aliens. I have not even read this. I have not even looked at this document yet, but Mike, maybe we should pull that up.
We have 3 people left on stream. Everybody else kind of cut out. Probably the politics, probably being 11 o'clock at night, but we'll see what we got going on here.
It'll be here for record's sake anyways.
FBI.
This is actually from November 10th. This is very new. This is from infinityexplorers.com.
Where is that posted?
It's one of the ones under High Strangeness.
Strange Notes. Ethereal area. Yep, there we go.
Right.
Second to pull this up.
Oh wow! I just read the first sentence of this paragraph, and already I'm like, I'm ready for it.
Continue on.
All right, get ready for this. This will be the last segment of the show. I appreciate everybody that's still here, everyone that was watching or will ever watch. Highly appreciate your presence here. Thank you. Also, for anybody that dropped a donation in the chat, it means a lot to me. And here we go. According to an FBI agent's declassified report in 1947, of course, the year that the Roswell crash occurred, aliens flew to Earth whose homeland is not the material, but on an etheric planet. Their ships can move from the etheric world to the material world and back. Netizens have found a 69-page document on UFOs and aliens on the FBI's official website. Dude, there's a lot. It's a gold mine over there. FBI and CIA.
This is why
the Black Vault's good.
Right.
Oh, when you say you're familiar, what are you familiar with specifically?
Ethereal aliens. These are the ones that I've actually come into physical contact with. Like, not physical, but on the ethereal plane. Like, outside of, it's just a hallucination. No, I was out in the ethereal plane contacting aliens that looked pretty much just like this guy.
So you were having, like awake DMT experiences. Is
My
that a good way to put it?
Waking, like, not exactly, because a DMT experience would be like it was right in front of you and you were physically seeing it. I was disconnected from my own reality whilst keeping that tether through my mind out in the cosmos in my waking state, walking around. So I could, like, okay, I'm walking down the street and I could just jump out of my body at will and fly into space and go find some shit out for myself.
That's weird, man.
Yeah.
It's wild. So, okay.
Yeah, so like these guys.
With that being said, we'll take that into consideration.
Right.
It is reported that the document was declassified back in 2011. Part of the document is especially stained with black paint to make it difficult to copy and read. But most of it looks quite recognizable. All pages of the report can be viewed here, and they have a link. Oh man, I'm gonna have to do a whole video on this. The report describes several UFO and alien sightings that occurred in 1947 in the United States. All these cases were collected by an unspecified FBI agent whose identity remains anonymous to this day. However, it is indicated...
Push that button.
What do you
Click
got?
that link. Holy shit. What?
Whoa. Whoa.
What is this?
They made that tough to read, huh?
Yeah, they did. We're probably going to have to edit that a bit. That's a long document.
Why would the FBI spend their time on bullshit if this was bullshit.
No,
you know
because
what
you
I
get
mean?
lower and it gets down here, like, yeah.
Is there?
We got newspaper clippings, flying saucer, bigger than automobile, photographed.
I wonder if anybody has taken this document and has like tried to like maybe write up a transcript of it. I'm gonna have to check the Reddit comments.
Yeah.
There's literally 69 fucking pages. All right, now Mike, when you get to page 14, you start to see what look like photographs of UFOs that were like very old. So they look like drawings, obviously, because this was photocopied. But they have photographs of UFOs. They even have newspaper clippings. Pilot recalls seeing discs. The guy's name is Dick Renane, tells of odd aircraft. July 3rd, 1947. Wow, look at all this. Dude, this is a gold mine of UFO documents from the 40s.
This isn't the CIA stuff. This is on their FBI site.
FBI. Flying discs, security matter, -X. And then it says the word 1. Then something's blacked out. Then it looks like it says Forever Navy or something like that. Our former Navy pilot and presently redacted. When I say redacted, it means it's blacked out. Myrtle Creek, redacted, Oregon. Reports seeing a mysterious object on 2 occasions the evening of August 6th while flying at above 5,000 feet above Myrtle Creek. Hatfield to be interviewed. Holy shit. Okay, let's go on with the article, but damn. Like, I guess all the good shit's with the black ink, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's where all the good
of course it is.
But there's good stuff in there, too.
Yeah.
Boy, they made it. Yo, man, if I really try, I can read it. It's there. We just gotta, you just gotta do our best. Because a lot of times what our brains are good at is if there's a word that's really hard to figure out because of the way that the image looks, if we read the words around it, we're usually able to figure out what that word is and form that sentence. So we should be able to figure it out.
Well, on my monitor, I'd be able to...
13 pages? Oh!
Yeah.
It's gonna take a bit, but... okay, here we go. Back to the article. All these cases... We're all here. Let's rewind a little bit, and then we'll just keep, we'll continue on reading, but I'll read that last paragraph that I left off on. The report describes several UFO and alien sightings that occurred in 1947 in the United States. All these cases were collected by an unspecified FBI agent whose identity remains anonymous to this day. However, it is indicated that after 1947, for many years, he tried not only to collect such cases, but also analyze them for national security purposes. According to the declassified FBI report, not only the creatures living on other planets visit Earth, but also the entities from other dimensions. Some of these beings come from the so-called etheric plane that coexists with our physical universe. These entities can materialize on our planet as giant, translucent figures. Moving on. Some important excerpts from the declassified FBI report. I'm hoping this comes from some of that blacked out section because it's really difficult to read. Part of the UFO is carried by the crews. Others are remotely controlled. Their mission is peaceful and they are only on their ships. That is, they have no ground bases. These aliens are similar to humans but much larger in size. They are not hybrids or copies of earthly people but come from their own world. They do not come from the physical planet, but from the etheric planet, which permeates on its own and is not perceived by us. The bodies of the aliens and their ship will automatically materialize upon entering the vibration of our dense matter. Discs, UFOs, possess radiant energy or a beam that will easily destroy any ship attacking them. They return to the etheric space at will, and therefore disappear without a trace from our field of vision. Right?
Sounds exactly like orbs.
Well, like the video clip. Oh, that's how we're gonna end. No, that's what we're gonna do. That's how we're gonna end this stream. After we're done reading this, we're gonna play that UFO clip that you sent me. That has multiple angles.
Gotcha.
The one where it looks like a rocket. Like, that shit is crazy. Like, that's one of the best pieces of UFO footage I've seen to date. They return to the etheric space at will and therefore disappear without a trace from our field of vision, which means they just like snap in and out of reality, which we have a video clip that shows a UFO recently captured on footage doing just that kind of thing. The area from which they originate is not the same astral, but which esoteric teachings tell. However, it is similar to the concept of Loka in Sanskrit, which in Indian religions means kingdom of dwelling. These are separate worlds in which different creatures live. Most likely, they cannot be reached with the help of radio signals, but it is possible with the help of radar, if special equipment is developed for this. That's an interesting concept. And that's the end of the article. Holy shit! What do you make of that?
So that's exactly what I've tried to say for a long time. These aren't the ships. These are just them peering through the veil. Like, this is them, but like, this is them seeing us on the other side. Like, from the astral plane, you don't really see much of the actual third dimensional plane. So like, we don't see them in the astral plane. You don't see much of anything either.
Right.
So I would assume that that's them peeking in and peering in, and when they get brighter, is that they're trying to get a better understanding, a better view of what's going on, but they're not quite ready to cross the veil, so to speak.
This is why it fascinates me. Sorry, I had a little bite of food to eat. I don't mean to be chewing on stream, but most scientists these days will tell you that they believe, based on a lot of the recent experiments done in the last 10 years over at CERN, the Large Hadron Collider.
You should really watch Steins Gate.
You said Steins Gate?
Yeah, that anime about CERN.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Oh, bro.
I'm going to have to check
really
that out. I'm going to search that on 9anime tonight. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, dude. You're going to love it.
Because I'm in the middle of Sword Art Online. I just finished the Gun Gale section, and now I am heading into the Excalibur section, or whatever you want to call it.
Put that on pause and just get Steins Gate out of the way, because this is very topical.
Is it S-T-E-I-N-Z or E-I-N?
Stein, like Frankenstein. S-T-E-I-N.
Yeah, but is there an S after it or a Z?
Oh, with an S, yes. Steins Gate.
Okay, I'll check it out. I was also starting Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Oh, nice.
Which, Ghost in the Shell is just incredible. It's great. So, all that being said, the idea that there are other dimensions, like, this is really, really accepted amongst the top quantum physicists and mathematicians and scientists and physicists in the world today.
What do
they
you
say
mean?
the math really adds up to it.
This is from 1947. Like, this is where we learned about this stuff.
That's kind of what I was getting at, is that this is accepted now. It is 2020.
And this was declassified in 2011.
This is declassified, and it talks about these things that are now really scientifically accepted these days, as far as other dimensions existing. That is very much accepted in the scientific community.
This was declassified in the year that I was experiencing this. How's that?
Okay, that's a little weird. That's a little weird.
It's wild.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, right. This fucking They probably kept tabs on me. I'm not gonna lie. They probably had a heavy eye on me. If I could recount everything that happened, 100% they were watching what was going on.
And when you say they, who do you think they are?
I don't know who they were. Honestly, they were police officers and men in suits and all kinds of weird stuff. And they weren't
stuff, right?
They weren't in a physical form. They were in the mind's eye, having seen them as humans conversing amongst themselves about what to do
Could
about
have been
me.
remote viewers. Is that a good theory?
They could have been, because they didn't seem too thrown off by what was going on at all, and a lot of people get thrown off by this stuff, and they were not.
I firmly believe that remote viewing exists. I think there's enough documentation to prove that. I want to bring up a guy real quick.
They never got close.
Extremely intelligent.
They were within a mile, but they were never
agree with
close enough. They were very far from like my reach of conscious energy. Like we have that conversation about consciousness. That was the conscious bubble that like it reached that far out because of what the heck was going on with me at the time. But like they stood outside that range for good reason.
I guess there was a reason for it.
Yeah.
So there's this guy. It's a local access television and I think a call-in show and maybe even a radio show at the same time over in Austin, Texas. It's called The Atheist Experience. Now, the guy who runs the show, well, who's most well-known on the show, his name is Matt Dillahunty. He has debated very famous like evangelical Christians and other individuals in the religious community. They have debates about God and religion and everything. He's very, very, very well-spoken, very intelligent. I have a lot of respect for the guy, actually. But when he says there's absolutely zero, and I mean, he says there is zero evidence of the paranormal, zero evidence that aliens have visited Earth, zero evidence of telekinesis, zero evidence of ESP, zero evidence of any of these things. It just doesn't make sense to me.
That's somebody with an agenda.
He's a very smart guy, though. He is, man.
What smart people?
Well, he used to be a preacher, and he was like in seminary, and that's when it suddenly hit him that what he was reading was bullshit. Of course, and I'm not saying that as a general statement. That's his own words. Like, I'm not saying religion is bullshit. I'm saying that's what he felt.
If he believes that, then why would he discredit the logical aspect?
I don't know. And the funny thing is I wish he could sit down with like Christopher Mellon or like Luis Elizondo or Commander Fravor, Bob Lazar.
Have an E5 with what's Stephen Greer?
E5 with Stephen Greer, yeah.
That would be eye-opening.
You know who did do that? It's on fucking Instagram. Demi Lovato went out and did a CE5 with Stephen Greer and posted it all over her Instagram.
Imagine being that guy.
And said, this is real and we need to wake up and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, she's like super mainstream.
Imagine
like,
being that Las Vegas guy and literally able to just do CE5 on your own.
So I've been wanting to do, like Mike, I have the app. I have the CE5 app. It has frequencies you can play that were found in crop circles and all these other things. And like,
if we start playing those frequencies,
you can do that are really interesting. We should go out and do it. We need to go out and do it.
If we do that, I'm gonna go fly out there and find you some aliens, bro. I promise.
Evidence is gonna be useful for the YouTube channel as well as for like everyone else. People are gonna think this is nuts. They're like, these guys have nothing else to do. It's 11:17 at night. The election is, I'm talking like the general person. They think the election's over. Things are getting back to normal, so to speak. They're bored. No. I genuinely think, and I'm not someone who's crazy. I have never been diagnosed with a mental illness. I have never been shown in any regard to be malfunctioning, cognitively speaking. I think there's something to this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I think there's more to the world than we really understand.
As somebody who's been diagnosed cognitively disabled, I would even agree that they're full of shit. And I've seen it.
We're on opposite sides of the spectrum. You've been diagnosed with something that affects the way that you mentally function according to science, whereas I have not. And we've both come to this same conclusion.
Right.
So people should take that into consideration. Yeah. Demi Lovato, if you go on her Instagram, like, again, this is a very mainstream individual. Mainstream pop star. Say what you want about her music. I think she's actually very talented. She went out there and she said, I saw this with my own eyes. She had photographs of orbs, of these weird dancing lights. She had video clips, and she had a photo of what looked like an ethereal being. And I've seen other photos that Greer has shared. And Greer shared a photo of this ethereal being, this interdimensional being that manifested at one of their CE5 meetings that happened a few years ago, and he was on Logan Paul's podcast, and he showed this image.
Logan Paul.
Like, I know a lot of people have things to say about Stephen Greer. Do I think maybe sometimes he exaggerates and he's trying to get people's attention? And yeah, Probably, but do I think that like he's onto something? Yes, I think there's something to this.
If I were Stephen
guys
Greer, I would be doing
what's
the
his
same
name
thing.
over at Project Unity, another good YouTube channel. This gentleman has actually spoken to me in his live streams. He doesn't have that many more subscribers than me. He has like 6,000 or 8,000. He interviewed the two individuals that wrote the New York Times article about, off-world vehicles not made on this earth and all that stuff that I was mentioning earlier. He was the first person to enter them. He got the exclusive interview with them. He has a lot of information regarding the Thomas Wilson UFO leak. If you're watching this live stream and know anything about that, I'm on this like white on rice. You know what I'm talking about when I mention the Wilson leak. That's something we have to cover the Wilson leak at some point, Mike. Like, this is a big thing. So he has gone out and done CE5, and he seems like a really genuine, honest, nice guy. And I was driving to work one morning, and because I believe he lives somewhere over in the UK, he was doing a live stream showing footage of a really an older UFO documentary about an incident where a bunch of school children had contact together, like a lot. And there's been many incidents like that, believe it or not. One of them specifically was in the recent documentary, The Phenomenon, and that evidence is startling and hard to ignore. But I spoke to him, and he said he would check out my channel. Because I do other things on the channel here, not a whole lot of UFO content, but I told him I was a personal UFO researcher. He has spoken at length about CE5, what he believes, consciousness, energy, quantum mechanics, just, how everything's connected, the very, very definition of being, what it means to exist, what these UFOs are. He is very much in tune with everything that's going on. I say, Mike, we try to get him on the show. I think that would really, really be an interesting interview. The conversation we are having right now, his input would be valuable.
Yeah.
Very valuable. I've been wanting to get interviews. I want to interview Rex Bear over at Leak Project. I'd like to get Dabu7 on here. The guys that I've been following on YouTube for years. Stephen Greer would be, I know he's rather famous at this point, so I'd have to shoot high for him. If I could have anybody on the show, it would be Bob Lazar, though. If I could interview any person regarding this topic, it would be Bob Lazar. For sure. I truly believe Bob Lazar. 100%. I really do. Well, 99.9999999, because I wasn't there, I didn't witness it. But as close to 100 as you can get. So I think we should probably hit that point where we wrap it up. I think it's a good time that we show that UFO clip that you sent me last night. I think that would be a great idea. A good way to close. Because there's not much information there's no article really, attached to it.
It's the last link of zero over there, if you want to grab it.
But do you think we should show them? Is there a way we could show them both angles?
I don't have the second angle, no.
You just have the OG footage?
Yeah, the OG footage. I never got the second angle.
Yeah, you sent me the second angle.
I have the first angle. I sent you the first angle. I heard there were more angles. Do you have the links? Throw the second angle in.
You sent me two. That would look different from each other. Based on the position of the power lines. There's one that's a video clip, and then there's one that was like on Giphy.
Oh no, that was edited. That was edited to stop the shaking.
Oh, okay, and they did a terrible job, but
yeah, it was
actually even worse, but
All right, I'm gonna throw it up here.
Yeah, let's look at that OG footage. So, where did this take place? Was this
Texas, San Antonio, November 10th and November 5th.
November 5th. So this is 4 days ago. I'm noticing a major uptick in UFO sightings that not only have been posted on the internet, but are like really good in the recent, like a lot.
Right.
Usually you get like one or two good ones like every couple months, maybe more, but it's been like every week there's been a solid piece of UFO footage being shared on the internet. Gotta wonder, man. Now, let's have a look at this. You guys are gonna like this one. Was this actually on a news story too?
No, this was posted a day ago, but I think it was like taken 5 days ago. So like watch how it moves. It literally clears 10 miles of sky. 5 to 10 miles of sky. And people are trying to say this is a rocket ship that goes up. This went horizontal. Miles.
But it shifts form too. It looks like it has like an afterburner. Then the afterburner disappears. It stops. It stops and hovers. It blinks and then it disappears. For all intents and purposes, it looks like a light bulb that just shut off. Somebody flipped the switch and it's just shut off. You know, we're not saying it dematerialized, but it looks that way. You know, for all we know, whatever it was doing, its light that it was emitting may have been switched off. I don't know, but it looks like it just disappears. I don't see any dark object left over or anything.
In my experience, that is it. Switching dimensions.
That is a weird one. Right, these ethereal beings that can go in and out of different existences, different realities, different dimensions. Man. That's good footage too. I mean, I really don't think this has been faked.
No, I don't think
so. Wondering if Third Phase of Moon got their hands on this footage, because they're usually on top of stuff like this. It's really good footage. I like it. I give it the Cortex stamp of approval. Like, again, there's been a lot of really good UFO footage that's been not even just posted recently, but it's been taken recently. It's not like they had a clip that's from like 10 years ago that they shared that was buried on the internet and you're like, oh wow, that's pretty great. No, it's been taken within this year or this month. I'm impressed. The reactions sound genuine. The footage doesn't look like it's been hoaxed. It doesn't look like CGI. I believe it. What do you think?
It looks like an orb, like the traditional orbs we see in C5s, but like it looks like it's doing something that we don't see normally, which is that trail, that tail, which disappears without a trace, no smoke, no nothing, and then it itself flies miles across the sky and then also disappears. What?
Incredible.
That's not how. Like, this is somebody looking up for like a second. If it was SpaceX, it's not like you caught the end of it. Like, this is something completely different.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, like, how many more of these video clips do you have to see before you start to ask yourself, really, like, come on, man, what's going on with this? Like, what is it? That's not from Earth. That's not one of ours. That's nothing that we have made, I don't think. It's pretty interesting. I think we've done a good job tonight of sharing a lot of interesting stuff, and I thoroughly enjoyed it again, my man. Had a good time with this one. Like I said, hopefully we'll be able to do this as often as possible, you know. Hopefully by December, I'll be able to get my own computer going. I made almost $200 on YouTube this month, which is really cool. I mean, you know, again, I like to take that money and save it up and try to pour it back into the channel. So, because of all you guys that are viewing the material, it's because of you that I'll be able to do this. So thank you, because it means a lot to me.
And I'll
makes my life easier.
I'll be teaching you everything I possibly can about streaming. 100%.
Yeah, man, I think this channel, personally, and this isn't like me patting myself on the back, because there's a lot of people, you included, that are a part of this channel. I think this Cortex Zero project itself has potential. We have almost 2,000 subs, which I'm very proud of. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things compared to people who have millions, but I think it has a chance to go somewhere. And I think the live podcast, the live show where people can interact and in a live setting submit things, I feel like that sets us apart because not a lot of other shows do that. There's a lot of YouTubers that stream and they don't really even talk to the people in the chat very much. Whereas I do my best to acknowledge them. Especially when I'm streaming the games, I'm always talking to everybody in the chat. Very often. So, you know, I think it's got a bright future. But hey, listen everybody, I appreciate you guys watching. For those of you that are still here, I know it's late. I'm going to be going to bed pretty soon here. I got work in the morning. But thank you again so much for letting us entertain you tonight. And hopefully we'll be able to do this again pretty soon. I would imagine in a few days. But yeah, if anything that you want to submit, remember you can get in contact with me. I have all these social media links in the description. We have the link for the Discord. If you want to just hop in the Discord, if you have a cool link to share, got a great story, whether it's UFO related, paranormal, haunting, high strangeness, just completely mysterious and unexplained. Or if you have a personal experience or photos or videos that you've taken yourself that you want us to check out and maybe examine, like, by all means, submit it. We will look at it to the best of our ability. But thank you so much for watching. This is going to be the end of the show for now. But again, we'll be back tomorrow with some kind of stream, I'm sure. Probably just a regular old PlayStation stream. Hopefully we'll get stream sniped and wreck some snipers, because that's always fun. And yeah, we had a good time doing it. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your night.